Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. I became stronger with Krypton gold, and I chose to be an alchemist. Chapter 21. There was a commotion in the square. 7,800, very good. The first one passed. It's a good start. It's not bad. It's a good sign. Good omens, what a ghost, the first one is to pass, this makes me even more nervous, what should I do? Wang Bao was also quite satisfied with his results. He happily saluted the instructor who presided over the assessment, and returned to the crowd. The assessment was carried out in an orderly manner. Soon, nearly half of the students finished the assessment. Although martial arts training is also difficult, it is not like alchemy. Judging from the results of the students who have already participated in the assessment, 30 to 40% of them passed the test. Compared with other high schools in Wuyang City, this ratio is already quite high. The number of students with more than 10,000 battle strength is also quite impressive. There were even several people whose battle strength had already approached the 20,000 mark, causing bursts of amazement. After all, Dixing Middle School is one of the top 3 prestigious high schools in Wuyang City, and the quality of its students is not low. Feng Zheng, combat power is 26,000. A petite girl is standing in front of the measuring instrument. She has short fluffy hair, big watery eyes, a small Chong nose, and slightly rounded cheeks, making her look a little small. Seeing his own results, Feng Zheng pursed his lips slightly, and clenched his white and tender hands tightly to conceal his excitement. Boom! There was an explosion in the square, and the crowd was in an uproar. The sound waves surged like a raging tide, making people's ears buzzing. Hold the grass. You really can't judge by appearance. It looks so weak and harmless. It turns out to be a Tyrannosaurus. My mother, several top students didn't break 20,000 just now, and she just got 26,000. What kind of monster is this? Your analogy is so strange. But she is really awesome. Her combat strength of 26,000 is several times that of mine. Why are you surprised? Feng Zheng is a well-known martial arts genius on our Emperor Star. This combat power is not normal. In the stands beside the square, the principal Zhang Boming looked at Feng Zheng with admiration, and said to the mentors around him. This kid is good. He can be selected into this year's training camp and focus on training. The instructors echoed. Feng Zheng's martial arts talent is quite good, and he works hard. He is indeed a good seed. Chen Fan took a careful look at Feng Zheng. This girl is really talented. Zhong Lin had a mournful face, not as confident as before. Hey, looking at others, I suddenly feel like a waste material who can only cook. Chen Fan comforted him. Cooked rice is also very useful. How good it is to consume food and promote consumption. Liang Yu burst out laughing. Zhong Lin looked at Chen Fan in disbelief. The two argued for a few words. Zhong Lin was so teased by Chen Fan that he was going crazy, but his mood was not as low as before. He gritted his teeth and was full of fighting spirit. He couldn't wait to go up to the test and use his results to redeem his dignity. But it was Liang Yu who went up to test first. Liang Yu, please come to the stage for a test. Hearing Colonel Liang's name, everyone immediately turned to look at her. Liang Yu, come on. Liang Shalwa, don't be nervous, just perform normally, I am optimistic about you. Liang Shalwa, come on. With a refreshing and sunny smile on her face, Liang Yu waved her slender hands to express her gratitude to her classmates who cheered her on. Afterwards, she looked at Chen Fan with a smile, her big watery eyes were full of anticipation. Like a little girl waiting for candy from an adult. Seeing her like this, Chen Fan couldn't help laughing, and said loudly. Yu, come on, overwhelm the crowd. Immediately there was boos and strange shouts from the crowd. Hey, sprinkling sugar during the final exam, it's too much. Forcibly stuffing dog food into people's mouths, choking me and affecting my assessment results, are you responsible? Liang Shalwa, although you are famous and beautiful, in my heart you are still my eternal goddess. Liang Shalwa, have you been conquered by Brother Fan just like that? My heart hurts so much. Liang Yichao blushed, pretending not to hear the nonsense of these guys, and walked to Liang Tianyi calmly. She closed her eyes and adjusted her breath for a while, then quickly calmed down, and slowly mobilized her true energy. An abyss-like aura emerged from his body with a bit of piercing aura. This breath climbed rapidly, and gradually condensed like substance. On the stands beside the square, the principal Zhang Bombing and his instructors who were watching the game were the first to notice the extraordinariness of this aura. Zhang Bombing let out a sigh, widened his eyes, and stared at Liang Yu thoughtfully. This breath is unusual. Afterwards, the students on the square gradually felt it. Liang Yu's aura seems a bit strong. It's very strong, very strong. I feel that Liang Shalwa is going to bring us a big surprise. Amidst the discussion among the crowd, Liang Yu slowly raised her palm and made a gesture. Two slender hands that were as bright as jade, pointing at each other as palms, one hand stretched forward, the other hand drew a semicircle, gathered at the waist, ready to go out. A strong energy exploded, arousing strong wind and waves, with Liang Yu as the center, blasting out in all directions. Liang Yu silently swung the palm gathered at her waist, and hit Vector Tianxi with one palm. This palm seemed to be slow, but it seemed to be as fast as light, leaving behind dense afterimages wherever it passed. It seemed that it was only a moment, and it seemed that after a long time, this palm hit the Liangtian stone. When the palm touched the Liangtian stone, there was silence and no sound was made. In the next moment, like the clouds dissipating, the powerful energy from Liang Yu's body faded away like a tide. She stood in front of the measuring instrument with a graceful figure, her aura was awe-inspiring. Liang Yu, the combat power is 30,000. Boom! There was an uproar in the square. The sound wave exploded like a thunderbolt, straight into the sky. 30,000. My God, is it 30,000? What's the situation? Although Colonel Liang Hua was strong before, but not so exaggeratedly strong, this cultivation speed is too scary. Liang Yu is from the Liang family, and has powerful resources, which we cannot compare with. Oh yes, we can only envy a girl like Liang Yu who is a heavenly beauty. Chen Fan was also a little surprised. Liang Yu's combat strength somewhat exceeded his expectations. He noticed that Liang Yu's palm just now was quite exquisite and profound. She must have learned a set of high-level palm techniques to have such an amazing performance. The Liang family is worthy of being a well-known family in Wuyang City, and its heritage cannot be underestimated. According to Chen Fan's vision, the power of this set of palms is far more than that. Liang Yu's martial arts cultivation is limited, and she has not really exerted its power. The scene is astonishing, but the power is obviously not worthy of it, which means that there is too much thunder and little rain. But Liang Yu is still too young after all. It's pretty good to be able to do what she is doing now. Liang Yu returned to the crowd and went straight to Chen Fan. The crowd dispersed spontaneously to make way for her. Liang Yu walked slowly, with a confident and bright smile on her beautiful face. In the thunderous applause and greetings of the crowd, she was like a queen returning from victory, as if her whole body was shining, firmly attracting everyone's attention. With a smile on his face, Chen Fan watched Liang Yu walk in front of him, stared at her for a moment, and suddenly said, "It's pretty good, with a red carpet and a bouquet of flowers, it's like a proposal scene." Cough, cough, cough. Liang Yu didn't catch it in one breath, coughed violently, broke her power in an instant, and her queen's aura disappeared in smoke. When the surrounding students saw this scene, they burst into laughter in good faith. Liang Yu was ashamed and angry, and punched Chen Fan several times. "It took me so much to get this result, so don't let me get caught off guard." Chen Fan pinched her jade lotus-like arm, feeling the wonderful touch, and smiled. "Be prudent, Dare will appear frivolous. I'm helping you maintain the image of the school beauty." Liang Yu threw him a big white eye. She glanced at the arm held by Chen Fan, rolled her eyes, and a sly light flashed in her eyes. The expression on Liang Yu's face was suddenly in a trance, and the brilliance on her face quickly faded away. Then, her feet went limp, and she fell limply to the ground. Chen Fan was startled, and quickly supported her. "What happened to you?" Liang Yu's complexion was weak, and she was out of breath. "Just now, I used too much force, I lost my strength." Chen Fan. He pulled Liang Yu up, only to find that her body was limp, and she slid to the ground again before she could stand still. Chen Fan had more experience in helping the exhausted young lady in his previous life, but this was the first time in his life, so he couldn't help being a little flustered for a while. He pulled it a few times, and found out with a headache that Liang Yu, who was completely exhausted, was as soft as a noodle, which was really difficult to handle. In the end, he had no choice but to put his arms around Liang Yu's waist, let her upper body lean on him, and use himself as a support to prop her up. Chen Fan was a little nervous. "You lean on me, please don't move around, or I won't be able to support you. Liang Yu is extremely weak, she is like a gossamer." "Okay, I won't move around, you, help me, hold me tighter." Chen Fan quickly hugged her waist tighter. "That's okay." "Well, yes. Chen Fan let out a sigh of relief, and felt relieved. The students around looked at the school's recognized beauty, being held in Chen Fan's arms. The two of them were so close to each other, with complicated expressions on their faces. Leaning in Chen Fan's arms, Liang Yu blinked, with a smug smile on her lips. "Little boy, tell you to do me. Let you try this girl's tricks." The martial arts assessment in the square is still going on. Zhong Lin has been waiting very anxiously. "What's the situation? Why isn't it my turn yet? Won't you miss my name?" As if hearing Zhong Lin's nagging, the tutor who presided over the assessment said loudly, "Zhong Lin, please come to the stage for a test." Zhong Lin was shocked. "It's finally me." He walked out a few steps impatiently, turned back, and bowed to Chen Fan with a serious face. "God of learning, bless me, let me get a good grade in the exam." Then, he bowed to Liang Yu again. "Liang Zushan, bless me, let me get a good grade in the exam." It seems that because of the astonishing achievement of 30,000 combat strength just now, Liang Yu has been successfully promoted to a new student god in Zhong Lin's heart. Chen Fan put his arms around Liang Yu, and the two of them stared at him dumbfounded. Chen Fan smacked his lips. "Being worshipped by him like this, shouldn't my life be shortened?" Liang Yu was silent for a while, then quietly said, "It's hard to say." Chen Fan. Grass. On the square, the instructor loudly announced the results. Zhong Lin, combat strength is 8,300. Zhong Lin came back happily, dancing with joy, jumping up and down like a happy monkey. "Good. 8,300. My mother will definitely praise me when I go back. Thanks to the blessings of the two gods of learning, the results are much better than I expected." Chen Fan. "None of my business, you are relying on your own true ability." He glared at this guy angrily. "You beg me again, believe it or not, I will break your dog legs." Zhong Lin chuckled. "Isn't this too nervous? Find some psychological comfort. Just this time, the next time is not an example, the next time is not an example." The instructor who presided over the assessment called the next student. "Xiao Chen, please come on stage for a test." Chen Fan raised his eyebrows and looked up. Xiao Chen came out more and more, walked a few steps, but suddenly turned and stared at Chen Fan. He stared at Chen Fan for a while, stretched out his finger and nodded, and then made a challenging gesture. Xiao Chen is tall and handsome. At this time, in front of everyone, he is challenging the famous god of learning, Chen Fan. In the eyes of some girls, there is a kind of ruffian and domineering that makes people intoxicated. There were screams and cheers from many girls in the crowd. "Ah, so handsome. Who is he? Xiao Chen big brother is so domineering. Chen big brother, come on." Leaning in Chen Fan's arms, Liang Yu felt a sudden chill when she heard these girls' crazy words, and couldn't help shivering. Chen Fan looked down at her with some amusement, and didn't bother to pay attention to Xiao Chen's provocation. Xiao Chen noticed Liang Yu lying in Chen Fan's arms, and his complexion suddenly became extremely ugly. He gritted his teeth, took a deep breath, turned around abruptly, and strode towards the measuring instrument. Xiao Chen stood still in front of the measuring instrument, with anger and hatred in his eyes, as if he was looking at a life and death enemy. He clenched his fists tightly, and a tyrannical energy suddenly burst out from his body. Qi Jin hovered around his body rapidly, expanding rapidly, getting bigger and bigger, and his momentum was also rising rapidly. Hurrah! When the energy expanded to the limit, it actually stirred up the air, forming a powerful tornado around Xiao Chen's body. Everyone looked at this scene in shock, with amazed eyes. You can stir the air just by strength, so strong. Yeah, this vigor is fierce and domineering, and his power is astonishing at first glance. His combat power must not be lowered. I think it's possible to surpass Liang Yu. I also think it's possible, this assessment is really strong. Chen Fan raised his eyebrows. Others only saw Xiao Chen's vigor and strength, but he keenly noticed that Xiao Chen's vigor was violent and ferocious, but there were some signs of chaos. It seemed that he had taken the pill too vigorously, the ratio of medicinal power to cultivation was out of balance, his foundation was unstable, and something would happen sooner or later. In front of the measuring instrument, Xiao Chen swelled to the limit, his veins bulged, he let out a roar, and punched out at lightning speed. Boom! Accompanied by a loud bang, his fist hit the Liangtian stone hard. A strong air wave exploded on Xiao Chen's fist, making his clothes and hair rattle. Looking over from behind, it was truly majestic. Xiao Chen, the strength is 34,000. Wow! There was an uproar in the square. Hold the grass. Is Xiao Chen so awesome? 34,000, monstrous. This should be number 1, right? It must be, it is impossible for someone to be taller than this. Otherwise, we people really have no way out. In the crowd, Xiao Chen's little fans kept screaming. Ah, Xiao Chen big brother is so strong. My Chen big brother is the most handsome. The strongest. Chen big brother, look at me. Look at me, I want to give birth to a monkey for you. On the stands beside the square, the principal Zhang Bombing nodded appreciatively. It seems that the first place in this assessment should be him. Although this child's foundation is a little unstable, it's not a big problem to take care of him. The instructors nodded again and again. Although Xiao Chen's talent is not top-notch, he is really hardworking, with a tenacious personality and great ambition, which deserves to be cultivated. Xiao Chen turned to face the crowd, standing proudly with his hands behind his back. However, the hands behind his back were trembling slightly. He punched out just now, but was backlashed by his own strength. The hand that punched is now excruciatingly painful, and it feels like several bones in the hand are broken. Xiao Chen took a deep breath, pretended nothing had happened, and put on a confident smile on his face. He subconsciously looked at where Chen Fan was. Chen Fan was lowering his head and talking to Liang Yu. Liang Yu turned to look at him, the two talked and laughed at Yan Yan. Shendu didn't even cast a glance at Xiao Chen. Seeing this scene, Xiao Chen suddenly felt a fire burning in his heart. His body was so hot that his blood was surging, and even the severe pain in his hands seemed to have dissipated a bit. He strode towards Chen Fan with great strides. Everyone dispersed to make way for him. Xiao Chen stood still in front of Chen Fan, not looking at Liang Yu who was leaning on Chen Fan's arms, and stared at him condescendingly with a tone of ice. Chen Fan, do you dare to accept my challenge? There was a commotion in the crowd, and everyone's eyes scanned the two of them back and forth, watching the excitement with vigor. Chen Fan glanced at him with a calm and indifferent tone. 34,000 combat power, very powerful, no wonder the arrogance is so arrogant. After finishing speaking, Chen Fan ignored him, but bowed his head to Liang Yu and said, Yu, if you were to face Xiao Chen, what do you think your chances of winning are? Liang Yu thought for a while and said, it's more than 80%. Chen Fan nodded appreciatively. You have good eyesight. Dare to say that she has an 80% winning rate. Yu obviously also sees the problem of Xiao Chen's cultivation. Hearing Liang Yu's words, there were whispers in the crowd. No way, Liang Yu has 30,000 fighting strength, and Xiao Chen has 34,000. How can she say that she has an 80% winning rate against Xiao Chen? I don't know, and I can't figure it out either. Liang Yu chuckled lightly, explaining to everyone. He took too many medicines and his foundation was unstable. The 34,000 combat power is a bit too watery. Xiao Chen's expression changed slightly. Everyone was stunned. So that's how it is. Someone suddenly questioned. No, his combat power is watery, but you are exhausted after hitting 30,000 combat power. From this point of view, your combat power seems to be watery too. Everyone also remembered this, and nodded one after another. Yes, what you said makes sense. Liang Yu, Ma Dan, let yourself go in. Forgot that I was still leaning on Chen Qishi's body and pretending to lose my strength. Do you admit that you are pretending to be out of strength? No, take advantage of Chen Qishi. No, it is more important to teach Chen Qishi a lesson. Liang Yu changed her words decisively. I ignored it, so my winning rate should be relatively low. Chen Fan also vaguely understood now. He looked at Liang Yu with a half smile. Liang Yu's pretty face flushed slightly, and she looked away a little guilty. Chen Fan thought about it, but did not expose her in public. Xiao Chen watched the two flirtatiously, and gritted his teeth. After a while, he suddenly sneered, raised his chin slightly, and looked down at Chen Fan, like looking at an ant. In his arrogant and domineering voice, there is undisguised disdain. Facing my challenge, squeak, blah, 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 blah. What kind of learning god is nothing more than a timid coward? After speaking, he showed an expression of losing interest in Chen Fan, turned around and left. When Liang Yu heard this, she was so angry that she forgot that she was faking it. She stood up abruptly, raised her eyebrows, her eyes were like knives, and she was about to fight back. At this time, the teacher's voice sounded. Chen Fan, please come on stage for a test. Chen Fan raised his eyebrows, held Liang Yu down, and said calmly. Xiao Chen, I accept your challenge. The crowd watching the excitement suddenly went into an uproar. Hold the grass, brother Fan, don't fall for his tricks, he just deliberately provoked you to agree, and wants to slap you in the face. What's the trick? Xiao Chen is so arrogant, he has to accept the challenge if he can't win, otherwise he's going to kick his nose even more. Hearing Chen Fan's words, Xiao Chen stopped abruptly and turned around unexpectedly. He looked at Chen Fan playfully. Finally dared to accept the challenge. Very good, barely a little courage. I look forward to your good grades, come on, ha 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 ha. Xiao Chen seemed to have seen the wonderful scene of Chen Fan being slapped in the face by himself in public, and his heart was so happy that he couldn't help laughing. Chen Fan glanced at him speechlessly. Does this person have a brain problem? Why does he feel neurotic? Liang Yu looked at Chen Fan, her eyebrows frowned, and her pretty face was full of worry. She quietly tugged on Chen Fan's sleeve and whispered. Chen Fan, are you sure? If you lose the challenge, Xiao Chen will definitely laugh at you every day. Chen Fan patted her little hands. It's okay, don't worry. After speaking, he strode out of the crowd. Behind them, everyone was discussing. Oh, brother Fan is very brave. It remains to be seen what the result of this challenge is. Brother Fan is miserable. If he loses the challenge, he will always be a head lower in front of Xiao Chen from now on. Seriously, this kind of challenge is so unfair, it's pure bullying. Indeed, Xiao Chen is really shameless, why doesn't he dare to compare his grades in culture? Listening to everyone's discussion, Liang Yu became even more worried, and her beautiful eyebrows almost twisted into twists. She clenched her small hands and prayed secretly in her heart. Chen Fan, you must win. I know that your personality has always been very calm, since you dare to accept the challenge, you must have a whole card, right? Must win. Don't give Xiao Chen the chance to look down on you. Chen Fan stood still in front of the measuring instrument. In the square, thousands of pairs of eyes focused on him. Everyone held their breath subconsciously, waiting for the result of this challenge. In the stands beside the square, the principal Zhang Bombing looked at Chen Fan for a while, and suddenly let out a small sigh. Strange, Chen Fan seems to be a little different from before. The instructors also took a closer look. It seems to have changed a bit. This kid was unbelievably handsome before, but now he looks even more amazing, and his temperament is better than before. Zhang Bombing was silent for a while. I'm not talking about this, don't you think that his aura is stronger? The instructors looked up and down at Chen Fan thoughtfully. That said, it seems to be true. That's right, the aura is indeed a bit stronger, and it seems that he is deliberately hiding his aura. Zhang Bombing remembered Xiao Chen's challenge to Chen Fan just now, and he smiled meaningfully. Wait a minute, I'm afraid there is a good show to watch. Before the measuring instrument, Chen Fan mobilized the true qi in his body, and a powerful aura rose slowly. The sea-like innocence in the Dantian suddenly boiled up. True qi surged violently, like a raging sea tide, rushing rapidly through the thick and tough meridians. With the continuous circulation of true qi, the energy in the whole body became stronger and more condensed. When the energy surged to the limit, Chen Fan's eyes sharpened, and the momentum all over his body exploded like a volcanic eruption. Hands up, make a fist, get ready, swipe. Chen Fan threw a punch at Liang Tianxi with the force of a thunderbolt. This punch is as powerful as a dragon sailing out to sea, and as powerful as a mountain collapsing. Snapped. Halfway through the fist, it pierced through the air and made a violent explosion. The air was rapidly compressed, condensed into essence, and turned into a few wisps of off-white clouds, lingering on Chen Fan's fist. Accompanied by the explosion of the air, it is really like the wind and thunder, the power is astonishing. In the stands, the headmaster Zhang Boming saw this scene clearly with his extraordinary eyesight, and his eyes widened immediately, his expression shocked. The next moment, boom, the fist bombarded the Liangtian stone, as if a thunderbolt exploded out of thin air. Swish, a strong shock wave exploded on Chen Fan's fist, shooting out in all directions. Call. The strong wind brought by the shock wave swept across the entire martial arts square, blowing thousands of people's hair into the wind. The principal Zhang Boming suddenly stood up with a look of surprise and joy. The other mentors also reacted, and stood up in confusion, with shocked and expectant expressions. In the crowd of students, Liang Yu opened her eyes wide, let out an exclamation, and quickly covered her mouth, as if she was afraid that she would disturb the dreamlike scene in front of her. Xiao Chen's complexion changed drastically. He subconsciously took a few steps forward, rubbed his eyes, and took a closer look, only to realize that he was not hallucinating. Xiao Chen was shocked and horrified, his tall body shook slightly under the shock of his mind. He looked at the measuring instrument, then at Chen Fan, his lips were trembling, and his face gradually turned pale. There was commotion in the square. Everyone looked horrified, and they didn't care to take care of their messy hair, subconsciously looking at the display screen of the vector instrument showing the combat power value. But the display is black. Next moment, bang, under the eyes of thousands of people, the display screen fell from the measuring instrument. Immediately afterwards, click, a sound like gold and jade cracking came from the measuring instrument. There was a deathly silence in the square. Everyone stared at this scene dumbfounded, and after a while, someone murmured. What's the situation? Could it be that the measuring instrument was broken by Brother Fan? Hold the grass, it really is. Look carefully, the measuring instrument has been beaten and deformed. When everyone figured out what happened, there was an uproar. My mother smashed the measuring instrument with one punch. What kind of monster is this? What is the upper limit of the attack that the first-level measuring instrument used in high school can withstand? How high is Fan Ji's combat power? It's hidden deep enough. It turns out that Brother Fan is not only a student god of culture class. He is also a martial arts genius. Everyone had their hair disheveled by the strong wind, and their eyes moved back and forth between the measuring instrument and Chen Fan. Everyone had expressions of disbelief, and they all wondered if they were hallucinating. The instructor who presided over the martial arts assessment ran to the measuring instrument and examined it carefully, with an expression as if he was dreaming. After a while, he came back to his senses. He swallowed his throat, and after a long while, he said with difficulty. Chen Fan, combat strength, more than 50,000. The first-order astronomical instrument used in high school can withstand 50,000 attacks. The measuring instrument was broken, and he could only give a judgment that the combat power was above 50,000. After getting the confirmation from the instructor, the students in the square were completely excited. Amazing. Brother Fan is so awe-inspiring. He blows up the Tianyi. Is this the first person in the history of Dixing Middle School? Famous scene of the year. Our school unexpectedly produced a genius like Brother Fan. I am a blessing I have cultivated in several lifetimes, and I can be a classmate with a god-level genius like Brother Fan. Hearing the cheers of the crowd, Chen Fan stood in front of the measuring instrument with a complicated expression. He was worried about breaking the measuring instrument, so he only used the Kaishin fist of the proficient level, and the stronger Bengyun swordsmanship was useless at all. Unexpectedly, even if he suppressed his combat power like this, Liang Tianyi still couldn't hold on. If you use the Bengyun sword technique, won't the Tianyi be broken into slag with one sword? Chen Fan sighed. Alas, I still underestimated myself. Kaishin fist is just a low-level martial art. I originally thought that one punch could have a combat power of about 40,000 at most. 40,000 is enough. Hold down Xiao Chen, and get the first place in the final assessment. Unexpectedly, it was a miscalculation. In the later stage of the martial artist's realm, and with the double blessing of Lei Yin's forging body art to greatly increase his physical strength, the combat power of Kaishin fist is so strong. If I had known earlier, I would have put more effort into it. Chen Fan looked at the shattered sky measuring stone and the deformed celestial measuring instrument, and suddenly felt a headache. Should the school ask me to accompany you? The measuring instrument is very precious, I'm afraid I won't be able to afford it if I sell it. There was jubilation in the stands beside the square, and the instructors were all ecstatic. Chen Fan's class teacher, Su Xingyu, was also extremely pleasantly surprised. She pushed up her glasses and stared at Chen Fan below, her clear eyes filled with admiration. The principal Chen Bombing turned his head and looked at Su Xingyu, with an uncontrollable ecstasy on his face. Chen Fan turned out to be a martial arts genius. He actually hid it so deeply. Su Xingyu smiled helplessly. Yeah, he is too good at hiding, and I will be hidden from it too. Chen Bombing laughed loudly. This kind of monster-like genius. Our Emperor Star Middle School has found a treasure this time. On the square, Chen Fan stood in front of the measuring instrument for a while, and secretly heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that no one came to ask him for compensation. He pretended nothing happened and returned to the crowd. The best friend Zhang Lin stared at him blankly, his expression was so shocked that his eyes were full of awe. Chen Fan patted him on the shoulder. Why are you looking at me like that? Zhang Lin barely came back to his senses, his expression was still in a daze, and he muttered subconsciously. Break out the tianyi with one punch. There are more than one fighters, right? He cheered up, and looked up and down around Chen Fan, like watching a monster. Brother Fan, to be honest, what realm have you reached? You won't be a martial artist, right? Chen Fan didn't need to hide anything at this time, he said honestly. It's the late stage of the warrior. The students on the sidelines suddenly burst into an uproar. Brother Fan, wasn't he in the early stage of martial arts? It's only been a few days. You're in the late stage of martial arts. Do you believe that too? Brother Fan is obviously hiding his cultivation. That's right, Brother Fan wants to make a big splash in the final exam. Seeing others spontaneously making up their minds and finding excuses for him, Chen Fan will naturally not bother to clarify the truth. He smiled, as a default. Zhang Lin gave him a thumbs up with admiration. Brother Fan, you really know how to hide. The people I stay with you every day don't even notice it. Chen Fan chuckled. Where is it? I just don't like being too high profile. Before he finished speaking, he suddenly felt a murderous aura coming from behind. Chen Fan turned around and saw that Liang Yu was staring at him hard, biting her red lips lightly, her big watery eyes were full of accusations. Fool, you dared to lie to me just now. Chen Fan quickly said. Yu, I was just joking. Seeing Chen Fan's guilty look, Liang Yu burst into a smile, hugged Chen Fan's arm, looked up at him, her small face was full of admiration. I knew it, Chen Fan, you are the best. There was a little complacency on Liang Yu's face. I should have guessed it a long time ago, you are so calm, you must have a whole card. The onlookers looked at the closeness of the two, all of them had complicated expressions, and their eyes were full of envy and hatred. In the crowd, Xiao Chen looked at this scene with a pale complexion, and his eyes were dim. He gritted his teeth, took a deep breath, turned around and left without saying anything. Chen Fan's eyes moved, and he opened his mouth and said. Stop. Xiao Chen's figure froze immediately. He pondered for a while, then turned around stiffly, staring at Chen Fan, without saying a word. The crowd dispersed tacitly, leaving an open space for Chen Fan and Xiao Chen. Chen Fan took Liang Yu's hand, and she ran towards Xiao Chen. Liang Yu pursed her shiny red lips, lowered her head slightly, and followed Chen Fan silently, like a well-behaved and docile little daughter-in-law. Chen Fan pulled Liang Yu to stand in front of Xiao Chen, watching him quietly. Xiao Chen's eyes moved slightly, and he subconsciously looked away, not daring to meet his gaze. Chen Fan smiled, word by word, his voice cracked like gold and jade. Thousands of people present witness together, you lost the challenge. When you see me and Liang Yu in the future, please get out of here. Xiao Chen clenched his teeth, his hands were clenched until his veins bulged, and his breathing became rough. Chen Fan raised his eyebrows, his eyes were instantly sharp as a knife, and his tone was as cold as ice. Why, you are not convinced? Seeing such a situation, the onlookers began to speak in low voices. Xiao Chen, you force others to accept the challenge, and you don't want to admit it if you lose. You have a thick skin. If he wasn't thick-skinned, he wouldn't use what he is best at to challenge what others are least good at. Fortunately, Brother Fan is hiding his strength, otherwise a shameless person like him would have succeeded. Tisk tisk tisk, it's obvious that I provoked others first. Looking at him like this, it seems that I have been wrong. How shameless. Xiao Chen, if he dares to be a rascal at this time, he won't be able to stand up in school, and everyone will look down on him. Hearing everyone's discussion, Xiao Chen seemed to regain some sanity. He took a deep breath, clenched his fists a little stiffly, turned around and left without saying a word. Chen Fan smiled faintly, assuming that he had acquiesced, and didn't bother to argue with him anymore, otherwise he would appear to be unreasonable. At this time, the crowd suddenly dispersed, and the principal Chen Bombing hurried over with Su Xingyu. Chen Bombing looked at Chen Fan appreciatively, like looking at a rare treasure. He patted Chen Fan on the shoulder with relief. Good boy, not bad, not bad. Chen Bombing turned to Liang Yu who was beside Chen Fan, and nodded with a smile. Yu, you are also very good. Your father taught you very well. Liang Yu had already recovered at this time, she gave a slight salute, calmly and generously. Thank you principal for the compliment, my father asked me to say hello to you on his behalf yesterday. Su Xingyu looked at Chen Fan with a smile, and said in a meaningful tone. Chen Fan, you hide really deeply. Chen Fan chuckled, scratched his head, and acted stupid decisively. Where, it's just a fluke, it's just a fluke. He suddenly remembered, and asked Chen Bombing cautiously. Principal, I broke the measuring instrument, do I need to pay for it? Chen Bombing was stunned for a moment, then laughed loudly. What are you paying for? Not only do you not want to pay, but I also want to reward you well. You are the number one in the final assessment. On behalf of Dixing Middle School, I will reward you with 5 million in cash and a book of third-grade exercises. Let's go, I'll take you to the arsenal to pick out the exercises, all the third-grade exercises, you can choose. Naturally, Chen Fan couldn't wait to ask for it, so he agreed immediately. Good principal, he has been looking forward to the third-grade exercise for a long time. Until now, he still has not learned the exercises. In the school, there are some methods of moving breath and practicing true qi. But these are just the most basic things, and they are scattered and fragmented, so they cannot be regarded as serious exercises. In other words, these cultivation methods are too basic and low-end, not worthy of the word, gongfu. Kung Fu is the most fundamental and core thing in martial arts, far more precious than martial arts. In Daxia, the exercises are strictly controlled. Even the elementary exercises that are not at the grade level cannot be obtained with only money. For ordinary martial arts practitioners, apart from schools, the most reliable way to acquire skills is to join the army. Or join the sect of the martial arts family, work for it, and make certain contributions to be eligible for it. Because Chen Fan's martial arts aptitude is too poor, his martial arts realm has been stagnant in the early stage of martial arts. If there is a serious exercise, his cultivation speed will be much faster. And now, this wish is finally coming true. And it's not a low-level exercise that doesn't enter the grade, or even a first and second grade exercise, but an extremely precious third grade exercise. With the third grade Kung Fu, if I spend a lot of money, my realm and combat power will definitely grow explosively. The third grade Kung Fu method is so powerful. He followed the principal in the direction of the arsenal, his eyes full of anticipation. Thousands of eyes on the square were focused on Chen Fan, their eyes full of envy. Third rank exercises. I'm so envious. In my whole life, I don't know if I have the opportunity to learn third rank exercises. If I can learn the third grade exercises, it will be worth it even if I die. Don't dream, it's a waste of the third grade exercises for ordinary people like us. Outside the crowd, Xiao Chen, who hadn't gone far away, clenched his fists tightly and stared at Chen Fan who was walking beside the principal. His eyes were so angry that he was about to burst into flames. Third grade Kung Fu. This should have been mine. Chen Fan, you are obviously a martial artist, how could you suddenly be promoted to the late martial artist stage? Impossible. Even if it is a top genius, it is impossible to advance from the early stage of warrior to the late stage of warrior in just a few days. Chen Fan, I see through you. You must be cheating. You must have secretly used some powerful disposable talisman. I've heard of this kind of cheating before. Unexpectedly, you thought you were covering it up very well, but I saw through it at a glance. Yes, this must be the truth. In Xiao Chen's heart, strong thoughts surged violently. The monstrous anger and jealousy devoured his sanity bit by bit. Seeing Chen Fan passing by in front of him, the dazzling appearance of everyone's attention, his last trace of rationality completely disappeared. You liar, I want to expose your true colors. The berserk momentum soared to the sky, and Xiao Chen made a sudden attack. Call. Accompanied by the tyrannical vigor, Xiao Chen threw a punch at Chen Fan with the momentum of crushing mountains and mountains. Xiao Chen, who lost his mind, didn't hold back at all. This punch was his most powerful move. Snapped. Halfway through the fist, it shattered the air and made a violent explosion. With the power of this punch, if he gets hit, even if his body is stronger than steel, he will be seriously injured immediately. Everyone watched this scene in horror, and just had time to open their eyes wide. In this flashy moment, no one even had time to issue a reminder. It's over. Chen Fan is about to be seriously injured. This idea just floated in everyone's mind. The next moment, Chen Fan turned around like lightning. Roar! It was as if a huge dragon shadow suddenly appeared. The vast aura suddenly rose from Chen Fan's body, erupting violently like a volcano. Facing the punch that was already in front of him, Chen Fan did not retreat but advanced. He stepped forward, made a fist, and bombarded. Fist for fist. As soon as Chen Fan made this punch, a gray-white cloud appeared out of thin air on his fist. This is the air that has been compressed to the limit. Clap clap. The violently compressed air collided with each other, collapsed, and burst into a crisp sound like electric lights colliding and annihilating. Wind and thunder. Chen Fan's punch came first, and he met Xiao Chen's fist head-on halfway. Boom! It was as if a thick thunderbolt suddenly exploded in everyone's ears. Crack! With a crisp sound, Xiao Chen's face suddenly turned pale as paper. He felt as if he had punched a Tongtian titan. The huge force instantly shattered his finger bones. This violent force was not hindered at all, and continued to move forward along the arm. Crack! The whole arm was broken inch by inch. Xiao Chen felt severe pain all over his body, as if he was hit by a mountain. In the Dantian, it was as if there were thousands of knives stirring back and forth. Immediately afterwards, he was hit by this unstoppable force and flew into the air. Puff! He suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. He was still in midair, and he had already passed out. Plop! Xiao Chen flew more than 10 meters upside down and fell to the ground like a broken sack. At this time, everyone in the square reacted. The grand confrontation between Chen Fan and Xiao Chen was settled in an instant. Everyone thought that Chen Fan was going to be seriously injured, but in the blink of an eye, they saw Xiao Chen being punched and sent flying into the air. Realizing what happened, everyone was in an uproar. Despicable, shameless, I lost the challenge, and even made a sneak attack. Xiao Chen, I didn't expect you to be such a villain. It's a shame for me to be a classmate with you. Hold the grass, you actually hit your classmates in the final assessment. The shot is so heavy, do you want to kill your classmates? This guy is crazy, right? If he loses, he will kill someone. There are also many people whispering, admiring Chen Fan's combat prowess just now. Have you noticed, Brother Fan's punch just now is too awesome. That power feels like it can break a mountain. It's really powerful. With such a fierce punch from Xiao Chen, Brother Fan came in first, and he was blown away with one punch. It's like the god of war descending to earth, oh my god. As expected of a man who can blow up Tianyi with one punch. I've decided, Brother Fan will be my idol from now on. TCH, only now do I know how powerful Brother Fan is. Are you so slow? I have already set Brother Fan as the target to chase after a long time ago. Oh, then you have to catch up. Liang Yu angrily stared at Xiao Chen who had fainted, her eyes were as cold as ice. He is simply insane. He actually shot at his classmates. Chen Fan has repeatedly provoked him, but Chen Fan doesn't care about him. Instead, he pushes forward. Now he even makes a sneak attack. She glanced at the injuries on Xiao Chen's body, and she did not soften her heart in the slightest. HMPH, you deserve what you're doing now. No one will sympathize with you. You don't deserve it. In front of the crowd, Feng Zheng, who won the 4th place with 26,000 combat power, raised his little hand and scratched his head, staring blankly at Xiao Chen, who was lying motionless on the ground. Her watery eyes were wide open, full of doubts in her eyes, as if she couldn't figure out why Xiao Chen suddenly attacked Chen Fan. Chen Fan stared at Xiao Chen, who was lying on the ground with an indifferent expression. Principal Zhang Boming recalled the thrilling confrontation seen just now, and turned to look at Chen Fan with shock and doubt in his eyes. How can your mountain opening fist be so powerful? Chen Fan explained. I've upgraded Kaishan fist to the Xiaocheng level. The last time Chen Fan raised his Benyan swordsmanship and Leiyan body calcining formula to Xiaocheng, he had 15 million yuan and 3 to 4 million yuan left. It is far from enough to upgrade these 2 first-rank martial skills with this little money. But to upgrade the proficient Kaishanquan, it only costs 200,000 yuan, a drop in the bucket. So he spent 200,000 Krypton at random, and raised Kaishan fist to Xiaocheng level. The 3 martial arts are all small successes, so neat, it is the gospel for patients with obsessive-compulsive disorder. Hearing Chen Fan's words, Zhang Boming's eyes suddenly widened. Small success level. He was extremely shocked. Although Kaishan fist is only a low-level martial art, like most other martial arts, it is easy to learn but difficult to master. It's easy to get started, but the difficulty will increase explosively as you go further, and of course the power will also increase greatly. In the army, there are masters who only practice Kaishanquan. With the Kaishanquan that has been practiced to the state of returning to the basics, he has killed countless monsters of thousands of races, and his record is quite impressive. Small success level. No wonder Chen Fan's punch just now was so powerful. When the students on the square heard Chen Fan's words, they were also in commotion. Kaishanquan has been practiced to a small extent. No wonder the combat power is so high. Many martial artists haven't achieved a small success in Kaishan boxing. Brother Fan's talent is really terrifying. At this time, Zhang Boming heard Chen Fan say again. In addition, I have also practiced the Leiyan body forging art, and I have already practiced it to the level of Xiaocheng. This body training art has also increased the power of Kaishan fist. There was a moment of silence in the square, and there was an uproar. Did I hear you right? Both the mountain Kaishan fist and the first-grade Leiyan body forging art have been practiced to a small degree. What kind of monster is this? Worthy of being a god of learning. It is said that Leiyan body forging art is quite difficult to practice. It is difficult to get started, but Brother Fan has already mastered it. Liang Yu and Feng Zheng also looked at Chen Fan in surprise, their eyes full of admiration. Zhang Boming was dumbfounded, and looked at Chen Fan in disbelief. What, you have even cultivated the first-grade Leiyan body forging art to a small success? He was silent for a while, swallowed his throat with difficulty, and said with great admiration. What a monstrous talent, Chen Fan said modestly, the principal is too good for nothing. Zhang Boming was extremely happy. It's great that our Dixing Middle School has a super genius like you. After finishing speaking, he turned his head to look at Xiao Chen, who was fainted on the ground, and a monstrous anger appeared on his face. Xiao Chen is a student with high self-esteem and jealousy. He can't tolerate others being better than him. Such a student really embarrasses me at Dixing Middle School. The onlookers responded loudly. The principal is right. This man is a fool who thinks he is a genius. He has no self-knowledge. Yes, and this guy is stupid and bad. There are many geniuses who are better than him. What is he? He always looks like the best in the world. I can't get used to him. It's a shame I thought Xiao Chen was handsome before. I'm so blind. Zhang Boming suddenly turned around, slowly glanced at the students in the square, and suddenly shouted. I announce that Xiao Chen's final exam results will be abolished. The ranking is readjusted. In this assessment, the top 3 are Chen Fan, Liang Yu, and Feng Zheng. Hearing the decision announced by the principal, everyone immediately cheered. The principal is wise. Xiao Chen really deserved it. This fate is really happy. Brother Fan is awesome. He is a role model for my generation. The god of learning is mighty. This time the name of the god of learning is more important. After announcing his decision, Zhang Boming waved to Feng Zheng, who was standing in front of the crowd without even looking at Xiao Chen. Feng Zheng, come here quickly. Feng Zheng groaned, and ran over with short legs. The top 3 in the final assessment this time, Chen Fan, Liang Yu and Feng Zheng, are all in order. Looking at the 3 outstanding students, Zhang Boming nodded in relief. Let's go, follow me to the arsenal to choose exercises. Great. Feng Zheng waved his small fist and cheered excitedly, his big eyes were full of anticipation. Chen Fan glanced at the cheering Feng Zheng and couldn't help laughing. Feng Zheng blushed slightly, quickly suppressed his excitement, and put on a serious expression, like a little adult. Seeing her appearance, Liang Yu couldn't help but smile. The 3 followed Zhang Boming and walked towards the arsenal. The students in the square looked at the backs of Chen Fan and the 3 of them enviously. 3rd grade exercises. I'm so envious. Why are you envious? You are the first in the exam and you also have a 3rd grade exercise. Oh, we don't have that talent, so we can only think about it. I don't extravagantly ask for 3rd rank exercises, even 1st and 2nd rank exercises. At this time, the assessment has also come to an end, and most of the students have completed the combat power test. Everyone started to leave. Xiao Chen, who was knocked unconscious by Chen Fan's punch, woke up at this moment. Although Chen Fan shot mercilessly, killing people at school is still too much. Xiao Chen's injuries were serious, but after all, he still had a mid-term martial artist's cultivation, so he barely held on. He panted for a while and struggled for a long time before sitting up tremblingly. Everyone passed by Xiao Chen who was lying on the ground and unable to stand up, but no one came to help him. Some people ignored him and just regarded him as air, while some people even cooed in disgust and disdain when they passed by, making no effort to hide their contempt. Seeing everyone's downfall, Xiao Chen was furious, and with a puff, he spat out another mouthful of blood. Everyone was startled and subconsciously backed away. Stay away, stay away. Be careful that he will rely on us if his injuries get worse. You were right in reminding me that you have to stay away, or you might be blackmailed by him. A person like him can't do anything shameless. Xiao Chen was so angry that he died. You idiots! Who saw that I was not polite before, but now that I lost, everyone came to laugh at me. What's so great about Chen Fan beating me once? Martial arts training, resources are extremely important. How can a commoner family compare with me? With the background of my Xiao family, I will be able to catch up and surpass him soon. Wait, sooner or later, I will make you regret your blindness. You fools, how dare you look down on me? Just you, too. The more Xiao Chen thought about it, the more angry he became, and the anger surged in his heart, which made his blood boil, and he couldn't help but spit out several mouthfuls of blood one after another with another puff. He was suddenly in a trance, as if all the remaining energy in his body had been spit out of his body along with the few mouthfuls of blood. The next moment, he fell silently to the ground, unconscious. The crowd was slightly uproarious, and retreated further away. On the other side, the 3 of Chen Fan followed Zhang Boming to the gate of the arsenal. Zhang Boming turned around and said gently to the 3 of them. Chen Fan is the first, and he can choose the 3rd rank exercises, while Liang Yu and Feng Zheng can choose the 2nd rank exercises. Go in and choose by yourself. I'll wait for you outside. Come out and find me when you've made your choice. I still have something to tell you. The 3 nodded excitedly. Good principal. Looking at the tall and heavy door of the arsenal, the 3 of them took a deep breath, pushed open the door together, and walked in excitedly and expectantly. The 3rd grade exercise is on the 3rd floor, which is not on the same floor as the 2nd grade exercise. Chen Fan and Liang Yu's second daughter separated and went up to the 3rd floor alone. On the 3rd floor, which is restrained and clumsy in decoration, there are dozens of stone pillars half a person's height erected. On each stone pillar, there is a thick book floating in the air. A faint glow lingered on the book, illuminating the strange gold and jade-like material of the cover. Shengyang Junwei takes the path of Zhongjang and peace. After practice, Junqi has a strong compatibility with various martial arts. Chong Yun Heart Sutra. After being practiced, the true energy is lively and light, and it has a good bonus for martial arts that emphasize speed and focus on using softness to overcome rigidity. Xuanlong 9 Turns Kung Fu is full of domineering and fierce qi, which is most suitable for martial arts that can be opened and closed, and broken by force. Yan Huang Ju, this kind of exercise produces violent and fierce qi. When practicing some explosive martial arts, Many people will give priority to it, but the disadvantage is that it is not good at prolonged combat. A book of exercises, just by looking at the name, reveals the powerful power. Chen Fan was dazzled by reading it, and felt that every exercise book was quite good. He thought about it for a while, and focused on the kendo skills, discarding all other skills. Because when he chose the first-grade martial art, Bengyun sword art, he had already decided to major in sword skills. Among the 3,000 skills in martial arts, the power of sword skills is recognized as the strongest. Although sword skills are also recognized as easy to learn but difficult to master, opportunities to practice the legendary sword intent are even more elusive. But for Chen Fan, who has a system, the so-called difficulty is not a problem at all. All these can be solved by Krypton gold, he just needs to make more money. After careful selection, Chen Fan finally chose a book called Plowing the Sky Sword Intent. This technique is directly named after sword intent, and it refers to the most difficult part of sword skills. Its power is obvious. Although its cultivation difficulty is also the highest among these exercises, Chen Fan directly ignored this point. There is a system, that's how willful it is. After choosing the exercise, Chen Fan glanced at the other exercises. These exercises are very attractive, but with his current state, he can only practice one exercise. No matter how good these exercises are, they are meaningless to him. Thinking of this, Chen Fan turned around and left the arsenal without staying any longer. Zhang Boming, who was waiting at the gate of the arsenal, was a little surprised when he saw Chen Fan. "You chose so soon," Chen Fan replied. "Yes, Principal." Zhang Boming nodded in satisfaction. "It seems that you are very clear about your path of cultivation, and you have a direction in your heart, otherwise you wouldn't have decided so quickly. Let me see, which exercise did you choose?" Chen Fan handed over the thick exercise book, Plowing the Sky Sword Intent. Zhang Boming was shocked when he saw the name of the exercise. "This technique is quite difficult, at least you have to reach the level of a martial artist before you can start practicing." He looked at Chen Fan in surprise. "Are you about to break through to become a martial artist?" Chen Fan thought about it, and then made some money with alchemy, and it wouldn't be long before Krypton gold broke through to become a martial artist. So he nodded and said, "Yes, we will be able to break through after a while." Zhang Boming said in disbelief, as the breakthrough sure. Chen Fan was stunned. As long as there is enough Krypton gold, a breakthrough is a matter of course, and it doesn't matter how sure it is. He nodded again. "Nothing is lost." Zhang Boming was overjoyed immediately. He patted Chen Fan's shoulder vigorously, the smile on his face couldn't be suppressed. "Okay, great, you can break through to become a martial artist in high school. You will definitely shine in the college entrance examination. Give Dixing Middle School a big face." Zhang Boming expressed emotion in his eyes. "Our Emperor Star is so lucky to have picked up such a god-level genius like you. Your aptitude is so high that you can be called a monster." Chen Fan scratched his head in embarrassment. "Principal, you have won the award, and you dare not be the one. How can there be any monstrous aptitude? It's all because there is a system carrying the weight forward." "Well, you have worked hard on the system, and I will reward you with Krypton gold another day." Zhang Boming stared at Chen Fan with burning eyes, and said, "Cultivate hard, just tell me what you need, and strive to break through the martial arts as soon as possible. After breaking through to become a martial artist, if you can enter the country again, you can also fight for the number 1 in the college entrance examination." At this time, Liang Yu and Feng Zheng also chose the exercises and came out. Hearing the principal's words, Liang Yu was surprised and puzzled. "Principal, what is the top scorer in the college entrance examination?" Zhang Boming laughed and said, "You don't know yet, Chen Fan is about to break through to become a martial artist." Liang Yu looked at Chen Fan in surprise and joy, her eyes sparkled. "Really? Great, Chen Fan, you are such a genius." Chen Fan said, "Don't dare to be that. A genius is fine, but a genius is not." Feng Zheng's big eyes were round and round, his small mouth was slightly opened, and he looked at Chen Fan with admiration in his eyes. "Chen Fan, big brother, you are amazing." Chen Fan touched her little head with a smile. "Hey hey. Average." Zhang Boming waited for the three of them to finish speaking with a smile, and then said, "I have good news for you." The three of them looked at him together, expectantly. Zhang Boming said, The Zhongbei training camp is about to start. We have 3 places in the Emperor Star Middle School. I decided to let the 3 of you go. Zhongbei training camp. The 3 of Chen Fan's eyes widened in surprise. Zhongbei training camp is a large-scale trial event hosted by Zhongbei Prefecture, which is held every 5 years. There are 9 prefectures in Jiangnan province, and each prefecture has 36 cities under its jurisdiction. Wuyang City is the city under the jurisdiction of Zhongbei Prefecture. The purpose of this training camp is to train and select first-class martial arts geniuses for Zhongbei Prefecture and help them grow rapidly. Therefore, the rewards of the Zhongbei training camp are extremely rich, unimaginably rich. Zhang Boming encouraged the 3 of them. I'm sure you've all heard about how generous the rewards are in the Zhongbei training camp. You went to the training camp and worked hard. If you can get a high ranking, you will get great benefits. This will be of great help to your college entrance examination. He stared at the 3 of them and emphasized again. The rewards of this year's training camp will definitely help you beyond your imagination. Maybe it can improve your college entrance examination ranking by several levels. Chen Fan didn't care much about rewards at first. After all, as an alchemist, he has a good ability to make money, so there is no need to rely on any rewards. But hearing what Zhang Boming said, he couldn't help feeling a little bit excited. How rich are the rewards of the training camp, to have such an exaggerated effect? It seems that this training camp is worth going to. I want to be admitted to the best Kyoto University in Daxia, and if I get the reward from the training camp, it will be more stable for me to enter Kyoto University. Chen Fan secretly made up his mind to go to the training camp to fight hard for such a generous reward. When Liang Yu heard the principal's words, the expression on her face also seemed a little moved. Although her family is powerful, the resources she can give may not be worse than the training camp rewards, but what she wins with her strength is definitely different from what her family gives. Feng Zheng's small face was also full of excitement and anticipation, and stars burst out of his big watery eyes, like a little brave who saw a pile of treasures. She clenched her white and tender little fists with great fighting spirit. I must get a good ranking. Zhang Boming nodded to her approvingly, and praised. Good, keep up the drive. Then he looked at Chen Fan again, and specifically said, Chen Fan, although you are about to break through as a martial artist, there are too many monsters in this training camp. They are all cultivated by big families and ancient families, so you can't take it lightly. This reward is hard to come by. Take advantage of it. On the college entrance examination in the future, you will be able to sprint for stronger results. College entrance examination, more monsters. Afterwards, Zhang Boming said to the 3 of them. You all have to work hard and don't disappoint the high expectations of the school. Chen Fan replied seriously. Good principal, we will definitely work hard to get the best ranking. Liang Yu and Feng Zheng also nodded together. Don't worry, principal. Chen Fan suddenly thought of something and asked. By the way, principal, those who can be selected for the training camp must be geniuses from high schools in Zhongbei Prefecture. These geniuses must be very rich, right? It's not unreasonable for him to ask. In addition to its own aptitude, martial arts cultivation also requires a huge amount of resources. The pills that are taken regularly are not affordable for ordinary people. The school will only reward a small part of these resources, and most of them have to be borne by themselves. Therefore, those geniuses who have cultivated to martial artist or even martial artist in high school are mostly from aristocratic families, who can easily afford the huge consumption of cultivation. Zhang Boming nodded. Of course rich, and very rich. After all, not everyone has your monstrous aptitude. It is extremely rare for a student from a family like yours to be able to cultivate so fast. Both Liang Yu and Feng Zheng looked at Chen Fan with admiration. Both of them rely on the family's resources to achieve their current cultivation speed, which is far from being able to compare with Chen Fan. With Zhang Boming's confirmation, Chen Fan was overjoyed. What kind of training camp is this? This is a rich second-generation party. These people from aristocratic families are all masters of spending money without blinking an eye. Wouldn't it be possible to make a lot of money by refining pills and selling them to them? A large wave of rich second generations are waiting for me to slaughter them. No, they are waiting for me to earn their money. Before Chen Fan's eyes, there seemed to be a picture. Countless rich second generations swarmed here with a lot of banknotes, vying for each other, just to buy the elixir they refined. Chen Fan, I'll offer 500,000, and sell me a pill. Brother Fan, I will offer 1 million pieces. Sell me 10 pieces. Brother Fan, I'll give you 2 million pieces, and I'll take care of everything here. Don't rob me of any of you. I tried my best to reject it, but I was still overwhelmed by countless banknotes. The picture in front of him was so wonderful that Chen Fan couldn't help showing a happy smile. This is a godsend opportunity to make money. Get rich, get rich. Horse wuya grass is not fat, and people are not rich without windfall. Selling alchemy to the Chamber of Commerce, how can it be quicker to sell to these wealthy second generations who are not short of money? Looking at Chen Fan's happy and cunning smile, Zhang Boming, Liang Yu, and Feng Zheng were all at a loss. Chen Fan, what's wrong with you? Chen Fan suddenly came back to his senses, and quickly adjusted his expression. It's okay, no problem. He secretly decided that when he returned, he would try to spend more money to improve his alchemy ability, at least to the first rank. After all, primary pills are only suitable for martial apprentices, and those who can enter the training camp must be warriors or even martial artists. They don't look down on primary elixirs, only first and second grade elixirs can meet their needs. Looking at Chen Fan's deep thought, Zhang Boming was a little puzzled. What's the matter with this child? I said earlier that the master mentor personally instructed him, but he looked very plain. Why are you so happy when you hear that the students who participated in the training camp are very rich? He thought for a while and couldn't figure it out, suppressed his doubts, and said, you guys prepare well and leave in 10 days. Now go to the finance department to receive the bonus for this final assessment. Before Chen Fan and Liang Yu could respond, Feng Zheng jumped up happily. Woohoo! Bonus bonus! Hurry up! Chapter 31. Looking at Feng Zheng, who looks like a little money fan, both Chen Fan and Liang Yu couldn't help laughing. Hurry up! Hurry up! You are so inkblot. Under Feng Zheng's constant urging, the two had no choice but to speed up and go to the school's financial office as quickly as possible to collect the bonus. Chen Fan is the first in the final assessment, and the bonus is 5 million. The bonus for Liang Yu and Feng Zheng is 3 million. The bonus was transferred directly to the card. Feng Zheng held the phone in his hand and read the reminder text message that the 3 million was credited over and over again several times. Stretching out her white and slender fingers, she counted the string of zeros behind the amount one by one. Her little face was full of satisfaction. Hey hey hey, 3 million, it's all mine. I earned it myself. Chen Fan, yes, it's yours, no one will snatch it from you. Liang Yu had been urged by Feng Zheng just now, but she didn't find a chance to speak. At this moment, I finally have free time. She wrapped her arms around Chen Fan's arm like a thick thigh. Chen Fan, tutor me. Chen Fan was a little puzzled. Counseling? What is counseling? Liang Yu's eyes sparkled. Guide me to practice martial arts. You have practiced Kaishan Quan and Leiyan body forging Ju to a small degree. It's really amazing. Share some experience with me. The martial skill I'm practicing now, the level has been stuck and can't go up. No matter how much I practice it, it's useless. Feng Zheng, who was buried in counting money, suddenly raised his little head when he heard this, blinked his eyes thoughtfully. After listening to Liang Yu's words, Chen Fan nodded in understanding. That's it. Liang Yu gently shook Chen Fan's arm, her pretty face full of pleading. Is it okay? Is it okay? Chen Fan didn't hesitate much, and immediately agreed. Counseling is of course okay, but I don't have time recently and I have to prepare for the training camp. I'll guide you after the training camp. When he said to prepare for the training camp, he mainly meant to upgrade the level of alchemy so that he could go to the training camp and make a lot of money. Liang Yu is very happy. Then it's settled. I will definitely listen to your guidance, Teacher Chen. Chen Fan raised his eyebrows. Teacher Chen, this title sounds quite pleasing to the ear. At this time, Feng Zheng also suddenly said, Chen Fan big brother, I also want to tutor. She glanced at Liang Yu, who was holding Chen Fan's arm, rolled her eyes, and ran to the other side of Chen Fan. Then, following Liang Yu's example, she put her arms around Chen Fan's other arm, and raised her little face. Chen Fan big brother, okay. Chen Fan, okay, Zheng, when I go to the training camp, I will also guide you well. Feng Zheng showed a cute smile to Chen Fan. Thank you Chen Fan big brother. Principal's office. Zhang Boming was leaning on the sofa, drinking tea and reading the newspaper, feeling extremely comfortable. He has been the principal of Dixing Middle School for so many years, and he has never been in such a good mood as he is today. There is no way to feel bad. If it were any other principal, if a genius like Chen Fan appeared in his school, he would be in a good mood too. Thinking of Chen Fan, Zhang Boming felt even happier. This child is really extraordinary. He hasn't graduated from high school yet. Kaishan boxing has been practiced to a small success. The first grade Layan body calcining formula has also been practiced to a small success. This talent is simply too exaggerated. If a student like this came every year, within a few years, Dixing Middle School would become the strongest high school in the entire Great Sha. Zhang Boming let his mind fly, thinking wildly, and couldn't help laughing at his own thoughts. What are you thinking about Zhang Boming? If you can meet a Chen Fan, you are already lucky. One per year, I don't even dare to think like that in my dreams. He shook his head, picked up the steaming teacup, and took a sip happily. Jingle bell. The landline in the office suddenly rang. Zhang Boming put down his teacup and picked up the phone. Who is it? On the other end of the phone, Zhang Mubai, the lord of Wuyang City, heard the clear voice. Bo Ming, I heard that your Emperor Star has a monstrous martial arts genius. It seems to be Chen Fan. Zhang Boming chuckled. Hey, City Lord Zhang is very well informed. Ginger Mubai. Nonsense. When you tell me, the day lily is cold. Zhang Boming touched his nose. How can you say that? Ginger Mubai. Such a super genius will definitely be valued by the palace master. You are the principal of Chen Fan, and your contribution must be indispensable. I don't call you, do you still want to hide people from me? I just want to take some credit for recommending good talents, without affecting you. Look at how you are searching. Zhang Boming sighed. City master, you think too much, I'm so happy, I didn't think about it for a while. Ginger Mubai got cheap and ordered right away. He changed the subject. I guess so. You Zhang Boming is not such a stingy person. Zhang Boming. Well, you are the one who said I was stingy, and you were the one who said I was not stingy. Zhang Mubai laughed and said. Burming, is Chen Fan still with you? I'll come and see him now. Zhang Boming shrugged. Oh, what a coincidence. He just left. I don't know if he's still in school right now. Ginger Mubai. You have no time to rely on your day-to-day life. Zhang Boming. There was the faint sound of a car horn on the other end of the phone. Okay, I'm on my way, I'm almost at Emperor Star, I'll go find him myself. School entrance. Now it is school time, and students who don't live on campus are walking out of the school gate in groups. Brother Fan. Liang Shalwa. Hello, Brother Fan. Brother Fan. Bullshit. Chen Fan and Liang Yu left the school together. On the way, students kept greeting him, and some people gave him a thumbs up. Chen Fan responded one by one with a smile, but felt that being too famous seemed a little troublesome. At this time, a low-key and luxurious official car stopped at the gate of the school. A tall, imposing middle-aged man got out of the car. He was wearing a simple and strong outfit, with a handsome appearance, half-length hair loosely loose, with light stubble, and an awe-inspiring demeanor full of wildness and unruliness. Seeing his familiar face that often appeared on TV, some students immediately recognized him. It's the City Lord. The City Lord is here. The students at the door turned their heads in unison. Seeing that the City Lord really came in person, there was a sudden commotion. Everyone saluted one after another. Hello City Lord. Meet the Lord City Lord. The City Lord is so handsome. Zhang Mubai laughed. Thank you for the compliment, students, you are welcome, just go home after school, I'm here to find classmate Chen Fan. There was an uproar among the crowd, they all looked at Chen Fan, no one moved, they stayed happily to watch the excitement. Zhang Mubai strode up to Chen Fan, looked at him with a smile in his eyes, and stretched out his hand. Student Chen Fan is indeed a hero-born boy. A talented person. It's a pleasure to meet you. Chen Fan quickly held his hand, and at the same time leaned over and gave a salute. Hello, City Lord. Zhang Mubai showed a disapproving expression. It's too much to be called the City Lord. When I hit it off with you, I'm 20 years older than you. You can call me uncle. Chen Fan's eyes flashed, he showed a friendly smile, and changed his words in a polite manner. Ginger uncle is good. Zhang Mubai patted Chen Fan on the shoulder affectionately and smiled heartily. Ha ha ha, good. I like such straightforward people. He shook hands with Liang Yu again. Yu, say hello to Mr. Liang for me. Liang Yu had a calm smile on her face. Okay Zhang uncle, I will pass it on to my father. The door was already crowded at the moment, almost none of the students who came home from school left, and all crowded at the door to watch the excitement. Everyone looked at Chen Fan with admiration and whispered. Tisk tisk, brother Fan is so awesome. The city lord has come to see him in person, it's so honorable. Yeah, brother Fan is able to chat and laugh with the city lord, and look at us again, alas, people are more angry than people. I can't envy you, is a super genius like brother Fan comparable to us? That's right, brother Fan is such an awesome character, he will definitely soar into the sky in the future. Maybe we will still receive his favor. At the back of the crowd, Xiao Chen, with a plaster cast on his hand, hid in the shadow of the school wall, trying his best to hide his sense of existence. He stared intently at Chen Fan, who was in the middle of the crowd, surrounded by stars, who was talking and laughing happily with the city lord. His eyes were burning, and his pale face, which was almost bloodless, was full of resentment. Xiao Chen's cheeks were puffed out, and he was grinding his teeth nervously. In his heart, anger was roaring like a monstrous wave. Chen Fan, these should all be mine. You are obviously only an early martial artist, but I am the strongest person in the class, and my martial arts cultivation is far superior to yours. You used despicable means to win me shamelessly. The awe of all. First glory. The mayor's favor. Third grade kung fu. Qualify for training camp. And Liang Yu's admiration. These should all be mine. All are mine. It was you who stole what was mine. You are a dirty, vile thief. You wait. I will definitely make you regret it. You have temporarily stolen things that did not belong to you, and you will have to hand them over sooner or later. Xiao Chen smiled triumphantly as if he saw the scene of Chen Fan being ruined and cast aside by thousands of people. There was a hint of madness and ferocity in the smile, and it looked very weird when coupled with his paper-pale face. In the crowd, Zhang Mubai and Chen Fan kindly chatted about homework. He came here today for nothing at all, just to see Chen Fan, talk to him, and get acquainted with him. Such a monstrous genius is destined to become a great big shot in the future. Now, if you have a chance, let's make friends and invest in advance, so you can't lose money. What's more, as the person who recommended Chen Fan to the palace master in the future, if the two of them don't know each other at all, or even meet each other, it's too embarrassing, isn't it? The two chatted for a while, and Zhang Mubai admired Chen Fan, who is neither humble nor overbearing, and has a calm demeanor, and he couldn't help but really love talents. He suddenly became interested and said to Chen Fan, although I know you're supreme martial arts genius, I don't really know your strength very well. How about we come to learn from each other? Let me see your real strength. In this way, if you punch me with all your strength, I will only defend but not attack. Chen Fan's eyes lit up, eager to try. The basic information of the city lord is known to everyone in the city. He knew very well that city lord Zhang was a great master of martial arts. Only defending and not attacking, to put it bluntly, he is acting as a training partner for himself. It's such a rare opportunity to fight against a grand master who only defends but doesn't attack. He looked at Zhang Mubai excitedly and gratefully. Then thank you Zhang uncle. Receiving the gratitude in Chen Fan's eyes, Zhang Mubai's impression of him became even better. This child has a bright heart, knows that I am showing favor to him, and is grateful for my favor. He is really a smart person, and getting along with him is really comfortable. Soon, the two stood facing each other and took a posture. The onlookers suddenly became excited. Famous scene. Famous scene. The first genius of the Emperor Star, fighting against the city lord. This scene is rare in 100 years. Fortunately, I spent a while after school and almost missed this wonderful scene. With a smile on her face, Liang Yu made a cheering gesture to Chen Fan. Chen Fan, come on, give Zhang uncle a big surprise. Chen Fan raised his eyebrows. I will try my best. Zhang Mubai showed a helpless smile. Yuyu, are you so partial to your boyfriend? Thanks to Zhang uncle who bought you so many toys when I was young, I'm going to be jealous. Liang Yichao blushed slightly, teasing Zhang Mubai coquettishly, sticking out her tongue, and giggling. Chen Fan mobilized his true energy, and his momentum began to rise slowly. His expression froze, and his expression gradually became serious. Zhang uncle, are you ready? I'm going to attack with all my might. Chen Fan didn't intend to hold back, he decided to mobilize all his strength and blast out his strongest punch. Zhang Mubai is a grand master, 3 great realms higher than himself, it is impossible to be unable to block his own attack. It would be an insult to him to hold back. As a martial artist, he still wants to hold back against the great master. How contemptuous is this? Chen Fan understands this truth. Zhang Mubai smiled heartily, and his aura became serious. Get ready, let's do it. Chen Fan's momentum is constantly rising, but the speed of rising is relatively slow. After all, it is not a real confrontation, he has enough time to slowly accumulate strength, and raise his strength to the peak. The deep and condensed true energy continuously rises from the dantian, pours into the meridians, and flows in the meridians. There is a steady stream of junqi, more and more, and the junqi surging in the meridians is constantly increasing. The junqi in the meridians gradually changed from a gurgling brook to a rushing river, increasing little by little, and finally, it turned into a surging sea wave. Chen Fan's aura has also become extremely fierce and tyrannical, like a python bowing his head, holding back his strength, waiting for the strongest blow. Zhang Mubai was on alert, staring at Chen Fan without blinking, observing his changes in momentum. Sensing Chen Fan's monstrous momentum, his eyes couldn't help showing wonder and admiration. At this time, Chen Fan clearly felt that more than half of the true energy in the dantian had entered the meridians. There was an obvious swelling pain in the meridian, which obviously reached the limit of what can be accommodated. Chen Fan knows that power is already at its peak. His eyes sharpened, he suddenly raised his hand, and punched out violently. Chen Fan's punch gathered the strongest power he could mobilize in one blow. The huge amount of true energy in the body surging like a raging wave, all poured out with this punch. The release of true energy was too violent, and even scraped the meridian faintly ache. The momentum brought out by this punch is also worthy of the huge true energy he poured into. Boom 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 boom. As soon as the punch was released, there was a dense burst of air, which kept ringing in front of the fist. This crackling sound was obviously more violent than what I had heard before. The cloud and mist formed by the sharp compression of the air is also a bit thicker than the light, lingering around the fist, disappearing and emerging again and again. Chen Fan even felt an obvious burning sensation at the peak of his fist. This is the intense friction of air that generates a lot of heat. Seeing this punch like a giant mountain cracking and a flying star falling, Zhang Mubai's face changed, and he realized that he was a little careless. The power and speed of this punch far exceeded his expectations. He hurriedly raised his strength, raised his palm, and met Chen Fan's fist hastily. Boom! Where the fists and palms meet, a violent shock wave explodes. A strong air wave swept out in all directions, shaking the onlookers. Zhang Mubai received the punch forcefully, only to feel a huge force rushing towards him. He stepped back a few steps before he managed to stabilize his figure. Zhang Mubai only felt that the hand that received the fist was numb and painful. He subconsciously shook his hand, raised his hand and looked down, his palm was slightly red and swollen. Zhang Mubai looked up at Chen Fan, his face was full of shock. Seeing this scene, the students' onlookers went into an uproar. Hold the grass, am I right? The warrior knocked back the Grand Master with one punch. Am I dreaming? I, Nima, know that Brother Fan is amazing, but I really don't know that he is so amazing. Liang Yu cheered and applauded desperately. Chen Fan, you are so amazing. Seeing Liang Yu's appearance, Zhang Mubai couldn't help being angry and funny. I'm still not your Zhang uncle, my hands are swollen from beatings, and you're still so happy. Liang Yu giggled. How about Uncle Zhang, isn't my Chen Fan amazing? Zhang Mubai looked at her with a half smile. Yo, I know it belongs to your family, so you don't need to swear sovereignty with me, and Zhang uncle won't snatch it from you. Only then did Liang Yu realize that she was so happy that she actually spoke her mind. She suddenly blushed pretty face. Na Nyan, dare not speak any more. Zhang Mubai looked at Chen Fan with a smile, without hiding his appreciation. Chen Fan, my niece Liang is right, you really gave me a big surprise. Burming said that your talent is almost monstrous, you are absolutely right. We have a super genius like you in Wuyang City. As the city lord, I feel that I have a bright face. Chen Fan said modestly, Zhang uncle, you have praised me, but I really don't dare to take it. I am nothing now, and I still have a long way to go. Zhang Mubai patted him on the shoulder vigorously and laughed loudly. No matter how long the road is, it won't take long at your speed. Go ahead. If you encounter obstacles on the road, tell Zhang uncle will smooth it out for you. Chen Fan knows that this is a heavy commitment. He looked at Zhang Mubai gratefully, and said sincerely, thank you Zhang uncle, I will keep it in my heart. Zhang Mubai nodded with satisfaction. He felt that today's trip was quite complete. Seeing that it was getting late, he felt that he couldn't hold Chen Fan all the time, otherwise the school entrance would be completely blocked. Zhang Mubai waved. Chen Fan, you, come on, get in my car, and I'll take you back. Let me chat a few words on the way. Naturally, it is not easy to refuse the warm invitation of the city lord. Chen Fan and Liang Yu exchanged glances, and boarded Zhang Mubai's private car for the city lord's mansion together. Liang Yu's driver followed behind. Watching them leave, seeing enough of the bustling students, they dispersed with satisfaction on their faces. Tisk tisk tisk, I really watched a good show today, it was enjoyable. That's right, the martial artist knocked back the Grand Master with one punch. This scene is so wonderful. I have to go back and share it with my parents. Brother Fan is really domineering. When he punched the city lord back, that scene, thinking about it now, makes my blood boil. In the shadows by the school wall, Xiao Chen stared at the city lord's car going away with envy and horror in his eyes. Watching helplessly the exciting scene that should belong to him happened right in front of him. But I can only be a bystander, and even try my best to reduce my sense of existence. In Xiao Chen's heart, he is already jealous to the point of going crazy. But at the same time, seeing the city lord's unabashed appreciation and love for Chen Fan, he felt a strong sense of fear and crisis in his heart. In Wuyang City, the power of the Xiao family cannot be compared with the city lord. With the city lord's attention and protection, there will be no chance to attack Chen Fan in the future. Moreover, he and Chen Fan have become mortal enemies. With the support of the city lord, the entire Xiao family is in danger. No, Chen Fan must die. As long as he is dead, all crises will naturally be swept away. Must start as soon as possible. Xiao Chen stared murderously at the city lord's car that was quickly leaving, then turned and left. The gate of the community of Chen Fan's house. It was the off-duty time at this time, and there were people coming and going at the entrance of the community, people returning home from get-off work, and people going out to buy vegetables for dinner. There was an endless stream of pedestrians. When Zhang Mubai's city lord's special car stopped at the gate of the community, the passers-by looked shocked and stopped one after another. This is the city lord's special car, right? The city lord has come to our community. Impossible, right? Why does a big man like the city lord come to our broken community? Chen Fan's mother, Li Qingmei, was taking Chen Guogo, who was home from vacation, to go shopping for groceries and stopped curiously to watch the fun. When she saw Chen Fan getting off the city owner's car, she suddenly widened her eyes and covered her mouth in disbelief. Chen Guogo also opened his mouth wide, dumbfounded. Among the onlookers, someone recognized Chen Fan. Huh, isn't this the child of Chen Dexing's family in Building 2? I remember it was called Chen Fan. No way, did you admit it wrong? In our shabby neighborhood, can someone who is qualified to take the city lord's car? You should be right. I've seen him several times, and he even said hello to me. Others were not sure. Li Qingmei naturally recognized her son at a glance. She subconsciously exclaimed, "Son." Chen Fan was standing by the car saying goodbye to Zhang Mubai and Liang Yu. Zhang Mubai and Liang Yu were going to get out of the car, but Chen Fan persuaded them because they didn't want to be troubled by the crowd. Hearing his mother's voice, Chen Fan turned his head and responded, "Mom, it's me." Zhang Mubai's eyes flashed. "Your mother is here too. Then I have to go down and see you." Chen Fan was stunned. This. Before he finished speaking, Zhang Mubai had already opened the door and got out of the car quickly. Seeing Zhang Mubai coming out, everyone was shocked and saluted. Meet the Lord City Lord. Say hello to the City Lord. Hello City Lord. Zhang Mubai's voice is clear and full of energy. You don't need to be too polite. He took 3 steps at a time, ran to Li Qingmei who was about to salute, and supported her. Oh, I dare not accept your gift. Li Qingmei was taken aback by Zhang Mubai's actions. She stood up tremblingly, nervous and confused, with a dazed expression. This is the Honorable City Lord, why do you say you dare not accept your gift? Li Guogo had barely recovered from the shock of, the big brother came back in the car of the City Lord, and when he heard Zhang Mubai's words, he suddenly fell into a state of doubting his life. When everyone saw this scene, there was a sudden commotion, whispering and talking. Wow, what's going on? I do not know. Could it be that Li Qingmei is some kind of important figure hidden among the people? No way. I think you've watched too many TV shows. Before Zhang Mubai went to Dixing Middle School to meet Chen Fan, he had already read Chen Fan's family information, so he naturally knew the name of the woman in front of him. He said to Li Qingmei gently and affectionately, Sister Li, you have raised a good son. Li Qingmei was a little confused. She looked at her son who was walking over, and then at the City Lord in front of her. She stayed there for a while before she said in a daze, Ah. Oh. Liang Yu also followed. At this time, she had a pretty and gentle temperament, just like a well-behaved and docile little girl with a quiet personality. There was no trace of the awe-inspiring aura of the past. She bowed to Li Qingmei. Her voice was gentle and soft, like a breeze blowing on her face. Hello, Aunt Li. Nice to meet you. My name is Liang Yu, and I'm Chen Fan's classmate. Li Qingmei's eyes lit up when she saw Liang Yu, who was full of fog. She took a look at Liang Yu. Her eyes were full of appreciation and liking. Hey, hello. Your name is Liang Yu. What a nice name, and you are also extremely beautiful. Oh, she's so beautiful. It's the first time I've seen such a beautiful girl, and she has a very good temperament. Li Qingmei's eyes lit up. She looked up and down at Liang Yusheng. She praised her, but her nervousness in the face of the Castellan disappeared completely. Liang Yu's pretty face flushed slightly. She was very shy. Aunt Li, you have won the prize. Chen Fan watched this scene silently. Standing beside her mother, Li Guogo looked at Liang Yu and then at Chen Fan, touched her chin thoughtfully. The people around watched the excitement with curiosity on their faces, talking non-stop in low voices. Chen Fan felt a little headache when he saw the bright eyes of the people around him. I will live here in the future. If others pay too much attention to my home, my parents will probably be very troubled. Zhang Mubai also wanted to chat with Li Qingmei. But Li Qingmei, a woman of duty, regained her previous nervousness when facing the City Lord. Moreover, she didn't understand what the situation is now. In the face of Zhang Mubai, it would only be I don't know what to say. Seeing this, Chen Fan could only smile and said, Zhang uncle, if you stay a little longer, you should cause a traffic jam. When Zhang Mubai got out of the car and met Li Qingmei, he wanted to use his name as the City Lord to give Chen's parents face, and now his goal has been achieved. And Li Qingmei was so nervous, he was a bit embarrassed and couldn't continue the chat, so he accepted it as soon as he saw it, and said kindly. Ha ha ha, that's true. Then I won't bother you. I'm here, and I don't think everyone is very comfortable. Sister Li, see you later. Student Chen Fan, I'll treat you to tea another day. Before Chen Fan could react, everyone around him gasped in unison. Hiss, did I hear you right? The City Lord invites Chen Fan to drink tea. My God, what kind of noodle is this? I know this kid, Chen Fan. He's nothing special except he's handsome. What's going on here? Chen Fan watched Zhang Mubai leave with a wry smile. This City Lord Zhang really did a good job of saving him. As soon as Zhang Mubai left, the onlookers immediately gathered around, scrambling to inquire. Qingmei, what's going on? Your family is related to the City Lord. Li Qingmei immediately denied. No, how is it possible? I heard what the City Lord said just now. It seems that your Chen Fan has done something great. Li Qingmei was reminded, showing a quiet expression. She turned to Chen Fan and asked, Son, what's going on here? Why is the Lord City Lord so polite to me? It made me so nervous. Chen Fan casually explained. Maybe it's because I got first place in the final exam. Everyone suddenly exclaimed. Wow, it's amazing. Li Qingmei, your kid has good grades since he was a child, and he will definitely be promising when he grows up. Someone suddenly reacted. No, are you fooling us? The first place in the exam is very good, but it's impossible to alarm a big man like the city lord, right? Chen Fan smacked his lips, not knowing how to explain it. Could it be that because he was too genius, he attracted the attention of the city lord? The evaluation of genius can only be judged by others. If you say you are a genius, you will appear frivolous and arrogant. He had no choice but to start talking nonsense. The Lord City Lord came to the school for business. When he left, he saw that I couldn't get a taxi at the school gate, so he asked the driver to take me back. Everyone buzzed and discussed for a while, and they actually believed his reason. So that's what I said. The city lord really loves the people like a son, and is really kind to us commoners. Chen Fan. So that's okay. I am really a little genius who ignored Hiroto. But he underestimated these people's curiosity and ability to get to the bottom of things. One question after another was thrown out, and Chen Fan was almost overwhelmed. After finally getting rid of everyone's questioning and entering the elevator, Chen Fan felt that the sweat on his forehead was about to come out. When she got home, as soon as she entered the door, Li Qingmei shouted excitedly. Dexing, your son got the first place in the final exam. He is the first in the martial arts class. The overall score is also the first. Chen Dexing was stunned for a moment before he realized it, then stood up abruptly, his eyes widened in shock. What? Chen Fan's performance in cultural subjects is always the first in the test. If this time is the first in the cultural test, although Chen Dexing is happy, he will not be surprised at all. However, this time, Li Qingmei specifically emphasized to him that he also got the first place in the martial arts class. Chen Dexing pinched himself to confirm that he was not doing long, and suddenly became dizzy with excitement. He was stunned for a while, but he still couldn't believe it. He rubbed his ears subconsciously, stared at Li Qingmei with burning eyes, and said cautiously. I didn't hear clearly, can you say it again? Li Qingmei understood his current mood very well, so she didn't laugh at him, and said it again with a smile, word by word, very clear. Our son. The total score of the final examination was first. The martial arts class is also the first. Reconfirming that this huge surprise was real, Chen Dexing took a deep breath and slammed the table. Okay, great, ha 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 ha, he laughed out loud with joy. Chen Fan's martial arts grades have always been a heartache for Chen Dexing and his wife. After all, in this world, martial arts is the foundation. No matter how good they are in cultural subjects, given their family's powerless situation, they can at most be an ordinary civil servant. It's hard to say that they have much future. Only with strong martial arts strength can you truly achieve success. Chen Dexing, who is usually unsmiling, has an ecstatic smile on his face. Looking at the happy smiles on the faces of the old couple, Chen Fan was filled with a strong sense of satisfaction. He suddenly felt that if his hard work were not just for himself, it might be more meaningful. Seeing that her father was so happy, Chen Guogo also smirked. She gave Chen Fan a thumbs up, tilted her head and smiled, charming and cute. Brother, you are amazing. You are simply my idol. Chen Fan raised his eyebrows. I thought it was before. Li Qingmei thought of something, and threw another big news to Chen Dexing. Let me tell you, just now Fan came back in the car of the city lord. Chen Dexing was stunned for a moment, a little bit unresponsive. What? Chen Guogo felt that she had no sense of participation just now, and immediately shouted excitedly. I'll say it, I'll say it. Li Qingmei opened her mouth, but swallowed the words that came to her lips. Chen Guogo happily described the scene at the gate of the community just now. Chen Fan unexpectedly discovered that his sister's descriptions are vivid, and she has a talent for storytelling. Chen Dexing listened in shock, thought for a while, and said. Fan, if it's just because you came first in the final exam and the city lord has a good impression of you and sent you back, there's no need for him to get out of the car and talk to Qingmei. Is there anything else you haven't said? Chen Fan was dumbfounded. Holding the grass, Dad's thinking is quite powerful, and he grasped the key points at once. Dad is usually honest, but he is too down to earth, and his brain is actually shrewd. Seeing Chen Fan like this, Li Qingmei and Chen Guogo also reacted. Li Qingmei asked curiously, "Son, what's the matter? Can't you tell your parents?" Chen Guogo raised her eyebrows and rushed forward to scratch Chen Fan's itch. "Speak quickly. Tell the truth. Confessions are lenient." While avoiding Chen Guogo's clutches, Chen Fan said, "There were too many people down here just now, and I didn't find a chance to talk about it. Actually, it's nothing. I was selected to participate in the Zhongbei training camp, and I will represent Wuyang City to compete for glory, so the city lord came to meet me and encourage me." Li Qingmei and Chen Dexing immediately showed ecstatic expressions. Zhongbei training camp. My God, after entering this training camp, the future can be said to be bright. Yeah. Great. Son, you are amazing. You are so proud of our family. As Li Qingmei and his wife talked, their eyes turned red. Chen Guogo was young and didn't really understand what Zhongbei training camp meant. Seeing her parents crying with excitement, she stood there in a daze, a little at a loss. Seeing the old couple crying with joy, Chen Fan took the initiative to disappear to save them from embarrassment. "Well, I went to the room to study." He wasn't making excuses, he really wanted to hurry up and figure out how to continue alchemy to make money. Chen Guogo scratched her head. "Dad, Mom, I'm going to study too." She also imitated Big Brother and slipped into her room. In the living room, their son and daughter were not there, so Li Qingmei and his wife didn't have to suppress their emotions desperately to avoid embarrassment. "Fanfan's father, our son is promising. You don't know, just now at the gate of the community, the city lord came to say hello to me, that feeling in my heart. I know, your greatest wish is for Fanfan to be successful, and I am the same. Now, we have seen this day so early. Fanfan is so upbeat. Yes, this child has been sensible since he was a child, and he studied and cultivated very hard. We have no skills, and we can't help him. We can only let him fight for it. In my heart, I have always felt guilty. Fortunately, Fanfan has made his own way." Speaking of the excitement, the two couldn't help crying while hugging their heads. But even if they were crying, both of them suppressed their voices, fearing that it would affect the study of the two children. Behind the bedroom door, Chen Fan silently listened to the excited words of the old couple. After a moment of silence, he slowly clenched his fists, feeling that the fighting spirit in his heart was stronger than ever. "Chen Fan, for yourself and for your family, you must be brave and diligent, and go forward indomitably." In the living room, it took a long time for the old couple to calm down gradually. Li Qingmei suddenly screamed, "Oops, broken." Chen Dexing was startled, and asked anxiously, "What's wrong? What happened?" Li Qingmei patted his forehead. "Oh, my memory, didn't I go out to buy groceries just now? I forgot all about it when I turned around. Fanfan and Guogo haven't had dinner yet when they came back from school." Chen Dexing breathed a sigh of relief. "Don't worry, I'm going fast, I'll go shopping." Li Qingmei was not polite to him either. Okay, go quickly, I'll go to the kitchen to clean up and get ready, hurry up and buy it back." Chen Dexing stood up and picked up the vegetable basket. "Okay, I'm going." At the gate of the community, there were still so many people watching the excitement just now. Some people had already left after seeing enough excitement, but people who hadn't seen the scene kept coming to inquire. "Uncle, I heard that the city lord came here just now. What's the situation? Let's hear it." "Auntie, I heard that the city lord came to our community because of a student." The people who saw the scene were free, so naturally they were not hesitating to share it with others. What's more, they also have a desire to share such a wonderful scene. "Yes, that student is Chen Fan." While talking, seeing Chen Dexing coming out, the people who were sharing were suddenly excited. "See, that is Chen Fan's father. If you ask me, you might as well ask him, that is the father of the client." Call. Immediately, a large group of people surrounded him, startling Chen Dexing. "Uncle Chen, I heard that your son was sent back by the city lord himself today. What's going on? Tell me." "Yes, I heard that the city lord also said that he would invite your son to drink tea another day." This is too special. Why does the city lord value your son so much? Chen Dexing hesitated for a moment. Well, I'm in a hurry to buy vegetables and come back to make dinner. Everyone disagrees. Hey, let's go shopping for groceries, chat while you go, and don't delay anything. That's right. If it doesn't work, let's buy it for you. It won't delay your business by keeping it. Let's talk about it. Chen Dexing has a simple personality and has never been the kind of person who likes to brag and show off. But today, he was really happy in his heart, and he couldn't help but want to show off his son's mood. Everyone chatted and asked, which happened to give him a perfect reason to show off. He couldn't bear it anymore, and while walking to the vegetable market, he told everyone about his son's dazzling achievements. My son, he got the first place in the school in the final exam. Not only the first place in culture, but also the first place in martial arts. Appreciation from all eyes. Amazing. Number 1 in martial arts. My God, Brother Chen, your son is really promising. Chen Dexing blushed with joy. And let me tell you, my son has been selected to participate in this year's Zhongbei training camp. To represent Wuyang City. Everyone was in an uproar, with shocked expressions. Wow, what else is there? I didn't hear anyone talking about it just now. Chen Dexing said with a smile. My son's personality is too stable. He doesn't like to be too high profile. He didn't say it in front of everyone just now. He quietly told me and the child's mother when we got home. Everyone gasped in admiration. Oh, it's really rare for this child to be so heavy-tempered. That's the Zhongbei training camp. Those who come out of the training camp are all dragons and phoenixes, with a bright future. Oh, old Chen, your family is about to prosper. Your Chen family is about to rise. Chen Dexing was so happy that he couldn't close his mouth from ear to ear, and kept saying modestly. It's still early. It's still early. There's nothing left. Everyone shook their heads in disapproval. What, if you don't pay attention, the child will grow up, fly away, have his own career, and make a name for himself. Very fast. When the middle-aged people whose children didn't stay at home all the year round heard this, they immediately showed sympathetic expressions. In the room, Chen Fan was thinking about it. There are still 10 days before the opening of the Zhongbei training camp. In these 10 days, the first thing is to upgrade alchemy as soon as possible. I am still just a junior alchemist who does not enter the rank, and I must at least upgrade to the first rank. It is best to be promoted to the second rank alchemist. The higher the level of pills, the more profitable they are. Those who go to the training camp are all selected from the Zhongbei prefecture. There must be a few top geniuses in the realm of martial arts. These are the real big fat sheep. If I can't earn their money, I feel like I've lost hundreds of millions. Secondly, it is necessary to break through the cultivation of martial arts to the level of a martial artist. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to get a good ranking, and as for the first place, don't even think about it. After all, martial arts is a big realm higher, and the combat power is very different. The last time I made 15 million yuan for refining and selling qi-enhancing powder, after Krypton Gold upgraded the Bengyun sword technique, Leiyan forging Bodyju and Kai Shengquan to Shaocheng, I still have more than 3 million yuan left in my hand. In addition to winning the first place in the final assessment, the school rewarded 5 million, and now there are more than 8 million in hand. It is more than enough to buy a first-grade alchemy technique, a first-grade alchemy recipe, and alchemy medicinal materials. But now it's getting late. Chen Fan cancelled his plan to go to the Alchemist Chamber of Commerce today, so there is no rush. After a while, Chen Dexing came back after buying vegetables, and Li Qingmei was busy for a while, and quickly cooked a table of sumptuous meals. At the dinner table, the old couple were very happy because Chen Fan was selected for the Zhongbei training camp. They were extremely happy, and even had an appetite. Accidentally, both of them were overwhelmed. Oh, Dexing, I'm full, my stomach is so bloated. I seem to have eaten a little too much, and my stomach feels a little uncomfortable. Chen Fan. Chen Guogo covered her mouth and laughed lightly. Li Qingmei supported the table and stood up. Dexing, let's go downstairs for a walk to digest food. Oh, my stomach. The old couple walked out slowly and went downstairs to eat. Chen Fan understood the thoughts of the two of them too well. He looked at the backs of the two of them, shook his head, and looked speechless. I think you two always want to show off your son again, and listen to other people's praise. Digestion is just incidental, right? Early the next morning, Chen Fan went out, called a measuring car, and went straight to the Alchemist Chamber of Commerce. Arriving at the Chamber of Commerce, Chen Fan went straight to the counter. It was still the same staff member who received him. He was very impressed with Chen Fan. Before that, Chen Fan came to sell qi-enhancing powder every day, and with his own strength, he suppressed the price of qi-enhancing powder in Wuyong City. Not only him, but the entire staff of the Chamber of Commerce have firmly remembered such a fierce man. Seeing Chen Fan, he immediately stood up, enthusiastically and respectfully said, "Mr. Chen, how can I help you?" Chen Fan said, "I want to buy a first-grade alchemy technique, and the formula of qi gathering pill. Oh, by the way, give me 10 copies of the medicinal materials of qi gathering pill." Gathering qi pill is a first-grade elixir, which is equivalent to the enhanced version of zengqi powder. It is much more effective in restoring and enhancing true energy than zengqi powder. It is the most commonly used elixir for martial arts practitioners in the martial artist stage. The elementary and first-grade alchemy techniques in the Alchemist Chamber of Commerce, as well as the alchemy recipes below the first grade, are sold to the public. As long as they have money, they can buy them. But above the first rank, there are restrictions, and the alchemist certification is required, which cannot be bought with money alone. The staff were shocked when they heard Chen Fan's words. He widened his eyes and looked at Chen Fan in disbelief. "I just bought the elementary alchemy technique some time ago and went back. After a few days, I can learn the first-grade alchemy technique. When did alchemy become so easy to learn? Even for those geniuses from the alchemy family, it will take 3 to 5 years at the earliest to be promoted from a junior alchemist to a first rank, right? This Chen Fan is such an evil genius." Seeing that the staff member was not moving, Chen Fan just stared at him blankly, frowned slightly, and repeated his words. The staff member suddenly came back to his senses. He swallowed his throat, and spoke incoherently. "Okay, please wait a moment, I'll get it for you right away." Soon, the staff came out carrying a big box. He must have spread the news just now, and the entire Chamber of Commerce was in a commotion, and many staff gathered around to watch. Everyone looked at Chen Fan in shock and admiration, and whispered, "The last time he bought elementary alchemy, I remember it was less than a month. Now he can learn first-grade alchemy. Tisk tisk, I've been in the Chamber of Commerce for so many years, and I've seen quite a few geniuses. This is the first time I've seen someone so enchanting. Amazing, look at it like this, our Wuyong City is about to produce alchemy masters." Chen Fan opened the box and took a look, confirmed that everything was correct, and paid quickly. He nodded to the staff. "Thank you very much." After that, without any delay, he put on the suitcase and strode out of the Chamber of Commerce. The staff who received Chen Fan looked at Chen Fan's leaving back and clicked their tongues in admiration. Suddenly, he suddenly remembered something, and slapped his thigh. "Oops, forgot something important." Other people who came to watch were startled. "What's the matter?" The staff bypassed the counter and hurried towards the door. "Didn't Lord Tian say last time that when Chen Fan comes again, he will come and see him in person?" He ran to the door in 3 steps at a time, but saw Chen Fan just got into a taxi. The taxi rushed out like an arrow, and he had no time to stop it. The staff sighed. "Oh, I'm such a pig, I often forget things. I don't know if I will be scolded by Mr. Tian." When Chen Fan came home by car, Li Qingmei was already making breakfast. Chen Guogo just woke up. She walked out of her room sleepily, without looking at the road, and was almost bumped by Chen Fan. She reacted subconsciously very quickly, sprinting back like a nimble little monkey. The remaining drowsiness was frightened away, and she woke up instantly. Chen Guogo saw Chen Fan was carrying a big box, and asked curiously, "Brother, what did you buy? Is it delicious?" Chen Fan glanced at her speechlessly. "I know how to eat it when I am full of brains. There are medicinal materials in it. I bought it for alchemy." Chen Guogo answered the words without thinking. "Oh, after refining it, remember to break off one of them and try it." Chen Fan, a product of qi gathering pill, are you sure you want to try it? Chen Guogo was taken aback, and hurriedly said, "Forget it." She was only an early martial apprentice, and the medicine power of the first-grade chi-gathering pill was too strong for her, and she couldn't refine it at all. If he really took the chi-gathering pill, his meridians would probably be ruptured by its medicinal power. This is no joke. At this time, she suddenly reacted. A first-grade chi-gathering pill. Brother, you can already refine a first-grade chi-gathering pill. Chen Guguo's face was full of shock and joy. You are a first-rank alchemist. When did it happen? How come I don't know at all? Chen Fan said vaguely. Not yet, but I am quite sure that I should be able to refine it into chi-gathering pill. Chen Guogo didn't doubt that Chen Fan would fail at all. She looked at her big brother with admiration. Brother, you are really a super genius. You have won the first place in the martial arts assessment, and you have learned alchemy quietly. I heard that many college students don't start trying alchemy until they graduate. The gap between them and you is too great. Chen Guogo was so excited that she hugged Chen Fan's arm, rubbed her small face against his arm with happiness. I want to hug my thigh. I want to hug my thigh. With such an awesome brother, I'm going to get rich, ha ha ha. Chen Fan. Li Qingmei also heard Chen Guguo's yelling in the kitchen. She rushed out with a spatula, surprised and delighted. Fan, have you learned alchemy yet? Chen Fan. Well, I have tried some primary elixirs some time ago and accumulated some experience. Now let's try refining first-grade elixirs. Li Qingmei was so excited that her hands were trembling. My God, Fan, you are such a genius. She stroked her chest, took a few deep breaths, with a suspicious expression on her face. I can actually give birth to such a powerful cub. Chen Fan. Fortunately, he didn't say that he would have to refine the second-grade elixir in 2 days, otherwise his mother would faint from fright. It took Chen Fan a long time to calm down the excited mother and sister. He went back to his room and closed the door. Afterwards, he took out the first-grade alchemy technique from the box, took a deep breath, and his eyes were serious. System, Krypton Gold. Upgrade first-grade alchemy. The voice of the system rang in Chen Fan's mind. Alchemy. First-grade alchemy not yet learned. To upgrade to the next level, 5,000 yuan is required. Would it be 5,000 yuan of Krypton Gold to upgrade the first-grade alchemy to the entry level? Chen Fan said without hesitation. Yes. Krypton Gold is successful. 5,000 yuan will be deducted, and the level of the first-grade alchemy will be upgraded to beginner. The next moment, a huge memory flooded into my mind. This memory contains a lot of knowledge, experience, perception and experience in refining first-grade pills. It took Chen Fan a long time to receive this huge memory. He thought about it for a while, and found that the contents of this memory were so extensive and complicated that it was like stuffing a small library into his mind. Chen Fan estimated that even with his talent in the alchemy course, it would take at least half a year to memorize these things on his own. The difficulty of alchemy is indeed well deserved. Fortunately, the system is extremely powerful. The memory it poured into Chen Fan directly merged with Chen Fan's original memory. Just like these contents, Chen Fan has mastered them little by little after countless times of practice. Every piece of knowledge, every piece of experience, sentiment and insight is extremely profound, and you are familiar with it by heart, so you don't worry about forgetting it at all. Chen Fan experienced it for a while, and felt that the entry-level first-grade alchemy, although the experience are comprehensive, they are not very deep. The entry-level first-grade alchemy, the refining of first-grade elixir, the success rate is not very high. He said without hesitation. System, continue to Krypton Gold, upgrade first-grade alchemy. Alchemy. First-grade alchemy introductory. Upgrading to the next level requires 50,000 Krypton Gold. Would it be 50,000 yuan of Krypton Gold to raise the first-grade alchemy to a small success? Yes, Krypton Gold is successful. 50,000 yuan will be deducted, and the level of first-grade alchemy will be upgraded to Shaocheng. System, continue to Krypton Gold. Is Krypton Gold 500,000 yuan to raise the first-grade alchemy to Dacheng? Yes, Krypton Gold is successful. 500,000 yuan will be deducted, and the level of the first-grade alchemy will be upgraded to Dacheng. Continue to Krypton Gold. Krypton Gold is successful. 5 million yuan will be deducted, and the level of the first-grade alchemy will be upgraded to Consummation. Alchemy. First-grade alchemy complete has been upgraded to the highest level. 3 consecutive huge memories flooded into my mind. In these memories, there is almost a huge amount of alchemy knowledge and experience, which is becoming more and more profound and mysterious. The experience and insights contained in the last memory have almost penetrated all the mysteries of the first-grade elixir. In the rank of Yipin, Chen Fan's knowledge and experience are almost omniscient, and have reached the limit. There is no further room for it. Chen Fan is extremely sure that for him now, refining a first-grade elixir is as easy as eating and drinking. No need to think at all, understatement, ready to go, almost the same as instinct. Chen Fan excitedly picked up the prescription of Qi Ju pill, ready to start alchemy. After reading it several times, he firmly remembered Dan Fang, and he made a space in the room to place the Dan furnace. Compared with the primary alchemy furnace used before, the first-grade alchemy furnace is obviously much better. The material is very textured, and the appearance is not bad. If you look closely, you can still see a very faint glow. This is the light of the aura. The alchemy furnaces that have entered the first grade are all made of precious materials that contain spiritual energy. The higher the grade, the richer the aura contained in the material. Chen Fan calmed down, adjusted his breath for a while, and then patted gentle Junchi into the alchemy furnace. The pill furnace quickly emits steady heat. After that, several kinds of medicinal materials were processed with special techniques, and then the medicinal materials were put into the pill furnace in a specific order. Constantly adjust the heat to refine the medicinal materials, and refine the medicinal materials into pure liquid medicine. Concentrate, shape, solidify, and come out of the oven, all in one go. The whole process was really smooth. After Chen Fan refined this batch of qi gathering pills, apart from consuming a lot of true energy, he felt that it was effortless at all, and he didn't need to use his brain at all. The first-grade alchemy that has reached the level of perfection is really powerful. The room is filled with a faint medicinal fragrance, which is a little weaker than the fragrance emitted when refining qi zongsan before. This is mainly because the medicinal materials used are different. The medicinal materials used to refine Qi Ju Dan have a more mellow medicinal power, but their medicinal properties are more stable and restrained. Chen Fan picked up a Qi gathering pill and observed it carefully. Huki pill is about the size of a finger, round in shape, green in color throughout, with subtle reddish patterns on it. This kind of pattern is called pill pattern, which means the quality of the pill is quite high. Chen Fan decided to try the effect of Huki pill. After becoming a warrior, he hadn't taken a first-grade pill yet. He put the Qi gathering pill in his hand into his mouth, swallowed it, sat cross-legged in meditation, closed his eyes and began to transfer the true energy. After a while, a steady stream of medicinal power began to pour out from the abdomen. Compared with the medicinal power of Zengqi powder, this medicinal power was much milder. But at the same time, it is also thick and solid, just like the rushing water in a big river. The surface is calm, but the power is hidden deep inside. Chen Fan's cultivation in the later stage of the martial arts is naturally very easy to refine, but if it is refined by a martial artist, the difficulty will be greatly increased. As the medicinal power continued to be refined, Chen Fan's Junchi consumed just now quickly recovered and continued to grow. After a while, the Junchi in the Dantian was so full that it was about to overflow, and pain began to appear in the meridians. Infuriating has been raised to the limit. Chen Fan felt the invisible shackles in his body, but under the impact of true energy, although the shackles were faintly loose, they were still far away from being broken. But at this time, because the body could no longer hold more Junchi, the medicinal power of Zengqi-san could no longer be refined, and began to overflow outside the body. After a long time, when the medicine wears off, Chen Fan sighed. After all, Qi gathering pill is only a first-grade elixir, and the refined Qi is not condensed enough to break through the invisible lock in the body and break through to the realm of a martial artist. If you want to break through to the realm of a martial artist, you can only use second-grade pills, or Krypton gold in the system. However, Chen Fan intends to try to use the elixir to break through first, and then rely on the system, and can't rely on the system for everything. Chen Fan bought 10 batches of medicinal materials for refining Qi gathering pill. He looked at the remaining 9 batches and started refining. When he gets busy, he tends to forget food and sleep. Li Qingmei came to call him for breakfast, but he refused. At noon, Chen Guobo called him for lunch, but he dismissed him casually. In the evening, Li Qingmei made dinner and came to ask Chen Fan to eat, but he still didn't eat. Li Qingmei couldn't bear it anymore. Fan, come out for dinner. You must eat this dinner. People are like iron and rice is steel. Don't starve your body out of trouble, or you will regret it sometimes. Come out to eat quickly. No matter how important things are, your body is not as important. Chen Fan hastened his movements to install the freshly refined batch of qi-gathering pills, and opened the door reluctantly. It's coming, Mom, don't rush. Li Qingmei rolled his eyes at him. You are such a busy person. You don't even have time to eat. I think His Majesty is not as busy as you in the entire summer. Chen Fan decisively raised his hand in surrender. Mom, I want to eat 3 big bowls. Li Qingmei's face looked better now. Then hurry up, I'll watch you eat, even if you miss a bowl. Sitting at the dining table, Chen Guogo watched Chen Fan deflated, giggling gloatingly. Li Qingmei threw a sharp glance at him. What are you laughing at? If your brother hadn't worked so hard, would he have achieved his current results? Chen Guogo, who was innocently lying on the gun, curled her lips in grievance, and did not dare to refute at all. Chen Fan stuffed 3 big bowls, and under Li Qingmei's satisfied eyes, he returned to the room and continued refining qi-gathering pill. It took another half a day to consume all the medicinal materials. He also accumulated more than 100 qi-gathering pills in his hand. Chen Fan had a good night's rest, and early the next morning, he took the qi-gathering pill in a wooden box and went straight to the Alchemist Chamber of Commerce. His previous 8 million was used to buy first-grade alchemy, the recipes and medicinal materials of qi-gathering pill, plus a meal of Krypton gold to upgrade the first-grade alchemy to perfection. There is nothing left for this little money. He wants to sell qi-gathering pill first, return some blood to his wallet, and then buy second-grade alchemy to refine second-grade elixir. Before that, one must first certify a first-rank alchemist. Because of the first-grade alchemist certification, you can buy second-grade alchemy from the Chamber of Commerce. Alchemy techniques and alchemy formulas of the second rank or above need to be certified by an alchemist before they can be bought, otherwise they will not be able to buy them no matter how much money they spend. The taxi drove very fast, and soon arrived at the Alchemy Chamber of Commerce. Chamber of Commerce Hall. Qian Jun, a staff member who has received Chen Fan several times, was doing nothing behind the counter, and when he saw Chen Fan coming in, he immediately lifted his spirits. Brother Chen, you're here. Chen Fan walked to the counter, smiled and nodded. Morning. Looking at the gentle smile on Chen Fan's face, Qian Jun thought of how many times he came here before. He had never been as arrogant as other alchemists, looking at people with his nostrils, and couldn't help but feel moved. Chen Fan and I have met so many times, and we are barely acquaintances. Why don't we try to have a relationship with Chen Fan? I don't want to do anything else. I don't have the aptitude to practice martial arts, so naturally I can't use pills. But being able to get acquainted with such a genius of alchemy Dao, it's worth talking about it. Thinking of this, Qian Jun plucked up his courage and said, Brother Chen, I would like to introduce you. My name is Qian Jun. You can call me Ah Jun. Chen Fan was not too polite with him, and said kindly and authentically. Hi Jun. Although Qian Jun is a little older than him, this world is very realistic and has strict hierarchy. As an alchemist himself, he was only a first-rank alchemist, and he was already very honorable in the eyes of ordinary people. If he were called Brother Qian, he would feel a lot of pressure on the contrary. Qian Jun was excited and happy to see that Chen Fan was so kind and didn't seem like a genius at all. He spoke more affectionately and attentively than usual. Hello, Brother Chen. Brother Chen, are you here today to buy something or to sell pills? Chen Fan said, I'll sell some qi-gathering pills first. As he spoke, he put the wooden box in his hand on the counter. Qian Jun opened the box and took a look. He gasped and his eyes widened in shock. So many qi-gathering pills. Of the more than 100 qi-gathering pills refined yesterday, Chen Fan kept some for himself, and there were exactly 100 in the box. Qian Jun picked up a qi-gathering pill and looked at it carefully. His eyes were horrified. The appearance is so good. The grain is smooth and the quality is top-notch. He looked at Chen Fan in disbelief. Although he had already guessed it in his heart, he still couldn't help but confirm it again. Brother Chen, these qi-gathering pills, are you refining them yourself? Chen Fan smiled. Of course, I will be certified as a first-grade alchemist later, and you can watch me refine it with your own eyes. The process of certifying an alchemist is to conduct alchemy on the spot under the witness of an alchemist from the Chamber of Commerce. One who can refine a few grades of pills is naturally a few grades of alchemist. Hearing what Chen Fan said, Qianjun immediately understood that the top-quality qi-gathering pills in front of him were definitely made by Chen Fan himself. Qianjun almost doubts life. Did you make a mistake? Can anyone really be this genius? He just bought a first-grade alchemy technique here yesterday. I handed it to him with my own hands, it can never be faked. Can you refine a first-grade qi-gathering pill today? And the quality is so good, and the success rate is so high. 100 pills are refined from 10 parts of medicinal materials, and almost nothing is wasted. The rate of making pills is so high that it explodes. Qianjun only felt that his 3 views had been impacted, and he felt that his mind was in a mess. Seeing Qianjun staring at him blankly, Chen Fan raised his hand in front of his eyes in doubt. Ah Jun. Qianjun came back to his senses suddenly, and stammered. Ah, I'm sorry brother Chen, I'll settle the bill for you right now. The market price of Hukidan is 50,000 pieces, and 100 pieces is 5 million. Qianjun quickly completed the settlement procedures and transferred the money to Chen Fan's card. Brother Chen, you want to certify a first-grade alchemist now, right? Chen Fan nodded. Yes, please arrange it. Qianjun said excitedly. Okay, wait a moment, I'll call the authenticator right now. The so-called certifiers are actually alchemists sent by the Alchemy Association to be responsible for certification affairs. The level of alchemy of the certified masters may not be very high, but after special training, their eyesight is sharper than the other, and they can see the level of alchemy of other alchemists at a glance, and give accurate certification. Soon, several certifiers came over. A certifier held Chen Fan's information sheet in his hand, and several certifiers looked at Chen Fan in shock for a while before someone said, Mr. Chen, please follow me. Several people took him to a special first-grade alchemist certification room, which was empty, except for a first-grade alchemy furnace, there was nothing else. The medicinal materials for alchemy were also provided by the Chamber of Commerce, but Chen Fan paid the certification fee. Qianjun came in with 3 medicinal materials for refining qi-gathering pill. With the certified teacher around, he can't be too affectionate, so he said with a businesslike look. Mr. Chen, here are the herbs you need. You have 3 chances, and if you succeed in refining within 3 times, you will be certified as a first-grade alchemist. Chen Fan smiled, with a calm expression and no nervousness at all. Okay, I see, thank you. Qianjun put down the medicinal materials and retreated to the side, but did not go out, looking at Chen Fan expectantly. An authenticator glanced at him, but didn't say anything to chase him away. After all, this is not something that needs to be kept secret. Chen Fan adjusted his breath for a while, calmed down, and poured true energy into the alchemy furnace, officially starting refining. Several certifiers, each holding an alchemist-grade evaluation form, with various detailed evaluation items on it. Feeling the heat emanating from the alchemy furnace, several certifiers showed surprised expressions, looked at each other, and whispered. This Junqi control is quite precise. Such a strong level of true qi control is quite powerful. It's almost at the level of a 2nd and 3rd rank alchemist. Tisk tisk, no wonder you were able to pass the certification of a first-grade alchemist at such a young age, just to control the level of true qi with this hand, the talent is top-notch. Although with his current strength, he didn't need to use his brain to refine the qi-gathering pill, but Chen Fan was still engrossed and turned a deaf ear to the outside world. He felt the fire in the pill furnace with his spiritual sense, and began to process the medicinal materials in an orderly manner. When the certifiers saw how he handled the medicinal materials, their eyes lit up. This technique is extremely skillful. Some mid-level alchemists may not have such a skillful technique. Indeed, some middle-level alchemists leave the handling of medicinal materials to their apprentices, and they don't bother to do it themselves. Their techniques may not be as good as Chen Fan's. This technique is like flowing water, it looks so comfortable. The certifiers were shocked when they saw Chen Fan controlling the heat and starting to refine the medicinal liquid. What a delicate method. We underestimated him just now. Yuanrong. Transparency. I may not even have this level. My God, what kind of genius is this? Qianzheng listened silently to the evaluation of the certifiers. He didn't know alchemy, but the horrified expressions of the authenticators were enough for him to clearly realize how enchanting Chen Fan's talent in alchemy was. Qianzheng looked at Chen Fan with awe in his eyes. Such a genius who is almost monstrous. The so-called geniuses I have seen before are far incomparable. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.